137, now we play against the rocks, no Dwayne Johnson.
We're gonna get this debate started. Let's get right to it. I'm quite sure both of these brothers is prepared. Drey, we want to first start off with the introduction. You'll give the introduction first. Just simply introduce yourself, tell the people your school of thought. Utilize 2 minutes on what you'll be teaching us today. No Bible verses. The time will start when you start speaking.
All right, shalom, everybody. My name is Brother Drey, a student at Absolute Bible Truth. My position today is that Joseph is not the biological father, and that that the Bible teaches a virgin birth conception of Jesus Christ. So I plan on demonstrating that scripturally first and foremost, and I also plan on demonstrating that historically as well. So I like to repeat again. I subscribe to the understanding that the Bible teaches of a virgin birth and that Joseph did not begot Jesus Christ. So that's pretty much where I stand. And yeah, that's it. I'm ready whenever y'all are.
Appreciate that, Drey. And we'll go over to the brother Ahrahayhla. Ahrahayhla, you got 2 minutes for your introduction. If you can, just introduce yourself, your school of thought, and tell the people what you'll be teaching us today.
All right, now
No
listen
Bible
to
verses,
this
the
guy
time was-
introduction. Hilarious. This guy introduction is. This is why I was calling them Hebrew illiterates. Okay, I've recently been a little nicer and called them Hebrew Ebionites. Ebionites was a bunch of early Christians who denied the virgin birth, right? So I was more nicer, called them Hebrew Ebionites. But I have to go back. Unfortunately, I might have to go back calling them Hebrew illiterates. Listen to this guy introduction. And he's supposed to be one of their chief priests.
Start when you start.
All praise to the Most High. My name is Brother Ahrahayhla. I'm a soldier here at Sicarii here in Philadelphia. I'm a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah.
Did he say Ahrahayhla? It sounded like he said Chris. It sounded like he said Sicarii Israelite Aggie. What's that name? Christine Aguilera. Hebrew Aguilera Ahrahayhla. It sounds similar, like Christine Aguilera. I don't know, like it's confusing. But anyway,
our position is that Joseph is the father of Christ.
All right, Tone, listen to this guy's madness. Listen to this. This is pure.
Being the king of the Israelites means that he is also an Israelite. The suffix "ite" means that you are the descendant of a man, and we see that the Israelites reckon their lineage or their descent to the house of their fathers. So we'll go through a plethora of prophecy.
Listen,
right? The testimony of who the world calls Jesus Christ, Yahushua, is the spirit of prophecy. So we will show through prophecy that Joseph is indeed the father.
Wow.
Okay, and then we'll also go into the grammatical structure of the Greek in Matthew, the first chapter.
You heard this guy. We're not going to the grammatical structure of the Greek. Yeah. Yo, you have to laugh at this point after what I exposed this guy. He's acting like he knows the Greek. If you forgot, here's a reminder. If you forgot.
BFD is back. Black Friday deals from Optimum are better than ever. Get 1 gig fiber internet for as low as $45 a month now with a 2-year price lock. Plus, get $400 on us to pick your own Black Friday gift. Call, click, or visit a store.
All right.
Again, Jacob Eganethan down yourself.
What Greek structure is that? What are you reading, bro? That ain't Greek. That's like slang with like Greek with English mixed with Hebrew.
Yosef, right? Down under Marias, right? When we look at Marias, Marias is in the genitive.
So this is him breaking down the Greek grammatical structure.
Case, right? Marias is in the genitive case.
He said genitive. It's genitive, but okay, that's a slippage, I'm assuming.
When we look at Marias,
already the grammatical breakdown ain't working out. He's saying genitive and it's genitive.
Marias, right? When we look at Marias, Marias is in the genitive case, right? The genitive case refers to the case used for a noun or pronoun. Would you agree that Marias is a noun?
Yeah.
Okay. So the genitive case refers to the case used for a noun, Marias is a noun, to show ownership. Who has ownership of Marias?
No one. All right. The text doesn't, the grammatical Greek structure doesn't give Maria an owner. Okay. All right. Hold on. It gets worse. Okay. Is this the one we snapped? Let me see. Is this your king? Now, this is his debate. This is his debate right here. I'm just giving you a reminder.
Represents the subject. The subject is not Maria because Maria is what? She's in a genitive case. She's the object. The object is separate from the subject.
Wait.
Throughout this, the subject
I hate Sicarii, man. I hate Sicarii.
Men, because that's
look,
how genealogies
I paused it. It's still going.
Of men.
Oh my God, I hate Sicarii. All right, this guy. He said earlier that Maria was in a genitive case. He meant genitive, and then he said who owns her. Now he says that she's in the genitive. I guess genitive and genitive are two different words. I'm not sure what he's expressing, but they're supposed to be the same word. He meant to say genitive. So now he's saying she's the object. Dude, how the hell is she the object and somebody owns her? What are we doing here?
Are the subjects. So with that said, these are reckoned of men. These are the subjects. So with that said, she's not the subject. She is the object. Looking at this particular parsing of this particular action, let's look at it again. Represents the subject, which is Joseph being the recipient of the action, letting you know that Jesus Christ was born.
So now he says Joseph is the recipient of the action. Then Joseph is the object. What are we doing here? Listen to his last words. He's going to say Joseph is the recipient of the action. If that's the case, then Joseph is the direct object. Why are you saying Mary is?
Joseph being the recipient of the action.
Dude, by definition, that's a direct object.
You know that Jesus Christ was born of Joseph through Mary. It's clear.
I don't know how that make any sense. Born of Joseph through Mary. Okay, if that makes sense to you, fine. But listen to his credentials.
Something that
listen to what he's going to do.
Grammatical structure is indeed the father. Okay, and then we'll also go.
Wait, because he said born of Joseph through Mary. Okay, so Meach had challenged that, right? Who was Jesus being born of? Mary or Joseph? Watch this. I think this is it right here. Oh my God! Yeah. So this is
these CEOs started with nothing,
add free stuff.
But they didn't just climb the ladder.
And the only reason I use this account because
they built their
other account. When I click the links for these screw ups, these files, it goes to this browser. It doesn't go to Chrome, and Chrome is whatever.
Already ruled that Marias is not the subject. She's not the subject.
So Joseph is the subject, is what you're saying.
No, that's not it. Where did he break down? Was it this one? No. I should have added time to it. I'm gonna start adding times. I did kind of. Should have added time frame to him.
It clearly says that Jacob is the one who begat Joseph.
Okay.
I went into the Greek grammar.
That's
right?
the problem. You don't know how to go.
Marias.
I closed the browser, still talking. All right, so listen to him one more time.
On that,
so you have Captain Sicarii, I guess he's the moderator.
Okay, and then we'll all
along with Corey, I guess he's the moderator. I guess he's for the virgin birth, against the virgin birth, against the virgin birth, for the virgin birth. And this is who he's debating, Drey with a Y.
So go into the grammatical structure of the Greek. Okay, and then we'll also go into the grammatical structure of the Greek in Matthew, the 1st chapter, something that my opponent will not be able to refute.
You heard him? He said, I'm going to go into the Greek structure, grammatical structure of Matthew 1, and it'll be something my opponent cannot refute. Oh, boy.
He has what's called the burden of rejoinder as the challenger and his obligation to refute what I bring out in the grammatical structure of Matthew, the first chapter. So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, we're going to bring out the truth that Joseph.
And that's a hell of a pump fake. Hey, yo, that pump fake would get the most undisciplined defender off their feet, biting on the shot. Okay? That was a great pump fake. My opponent will not be able to refute. Now, if the guy really don't know how to go into the Greek, he believes that. Like, he believes this guy. Ahrahayhla, Aguilera. How you pronounce his name? And how you pronounce this? Aguilera. So remind me of that singer, Christina Aguilera. Yes, her brother, husband. But that was a pump
the
fake.
father, and this idea of the virgin birth is not biblical. With that, I yield.
Good deal. So we got our brother Ahrahayhla.
Yeah. So I'm going to be able to show that came together means sex. You know, when it says before they came together, she was found pregnant with the Holy Spirit. So the next one up, I'm going to present that argument where we're going to stop this made up wedding feast and we're going to entertain the only possible action that could be thought of at that point, and it was sex. It wasn't some wedding feast. Meanwhile, I got a couple guys on my hip, like I'm trying to get them on. They're interested. Let's see. Oh, hold up. The one guy.
Will be demonstrating that Joseph is the father of Christ. We got the brother Drey that will be demonstrating that Joseph is not the biological father of Christ. That's clean. We got the time set on my end. So we're going into round one. If you guys can, ping, ping, ping. Some of y'all just jumping into the room, the last 150 people. Y'all just jumping in. Y'all should be pinging. You got 30 people that, you following. Make sure you ping them, bring them in the room so they can see this bill. So everybody should be in ping mode so we can actually see this conversation happening live. As well as sharing the room. That's an option as well. If you updated the app updated your app on the phone, then make sure you hit the share button to where you can bring people into the room as well so they can enjoy this bill. Cap, if you don't got anything, we finna get right into the bill.
No, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Con all praises. The 10 minutes is set for the first round. Drey will be going first on the first round, and then Ahrahayhla will be following up after. Drey, if you good to go, the time is set at 10 minutes. I'll first ask you, are you good to go before I press?
In this debate or debates, I really don't mind. Like, some people have a strategy where they want to go second, or some they want to go first. Like, my strategy to go first will just to lay down, like Tone just said, like I will just lay down I would just make sure that the burden of proof is on them. Like I'll just read. Like if you notice, like the few times I did a structured debate on the virgin birth, when I went first, I just pretty much read the virgin birth. That's all. I just read the virgin birth. I didn't really go into anything deep or what he said, the grammatical Greek structure. I literally just read, Luke 1, Matthew 1, and maybe I read Isaiah 7:14. Maybe I did that much. And if I have more time talking, reading it, maybe a Matthew 2 and then maybe a Luke 2. You dig? And I wouldn't even like bore people with the whole entire chapter. I'll go bits and pieces, just so you can get the pregnancy and then the birth. But that's my round one. My round one, just read the virgin birth. right? And had them respond and show how it was false. And then my round 2 is pretty much gonna be a nuclear bomb. Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, for me, it wouldn't matter. I think in most of my debates, it wouldn't matter if I go first or second. Just like, yo, no cap, when I play chess, I can play white or black. It really doesn't matter. Like, I have no preferable color, and if I was forced to choose a color, it would be black. I'd rather choose black, but I study white way more than I study black. So, so in life, just in life, so not just debates, but even chess, I don't mind. I don't care, white and black. I'm ready. I'm prepared either way. So in debates, I'm prepared to go first. I'm prepared to go last or second. Doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, like, nothing. I believe nothing they can do is going to be damaging or, to my argument. So
I am.
All right, good deal. So Drey is good to go. The 10 minutes is set, and it'll start when he starts.
All right, shalom, everybody. So before I get started, I'm going to start at 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 14. And it says, "But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned." So when you're dealing with the virgin birth, we're definitely dealing with the spiritual matter. So I'm going to dive into the narrative of the text and what the Bible teaches about it. And I'm going to show you, first off, why my opponent is going to have to abandon what the text says and run to other manuscripts that we're going to deal with, we're going to address, and I'm going to meet him at the finish line with it. So first and foremost, I'm going to start at Luke chapter 1 and verse 26. And it says, "And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin espoused to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary." So we got the angel sent to a virgin who was already espoused, who was already betrothed to a man named Joseph.
told you.
And we
He's pretty
continue
much doing
down
exactly what
in
I would
verse,
do
and
if I
also in
went
Hebrew
first.
culture, it's understood when you were espoused, that's already your wife. And I'll substantiate that briefly with Deuteronomy chapter 22,
Yeah,
23.
and it should be, to be honest, now I'm thinking about it, the people who deny the virgin birth should go first. Like, they should explain why they believe it's wrong, because the virgin birth is something, like, well accepted. Just like if somebody had a problem with the jab, you dig, the COVID jab, it's already understood worldwide as a science, as a true science, the jab. So the person who should go first should be the person who rejects it. Or, like, let's say if somebody thought the LGBT, that community was wrong, whatever, and they had a debate where it's right, the person who believes is wrong, the person with the negative side should go first. That's what I think. But anyway.
Verse 24. It says, "If a damsel that is a virgin," which is Bethula in the Hebrew.
And listen, I got some heat over here. Now, no man ain't gonna like this, my tabs, but listen, I got some tabs over here. I got some stuff that I gotta play, man. Wait, this is one of them. Dang, this is probably later. Let's do peace. Come on. Let's see. This is another one. I gotta play. Let me see. I was watching some of this right here with his wife. Oh, this is another good one right here. Yeah, so I got some heat. I got some heat.
Pure virgin, be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then he shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away the evil from among you. So it just tells you he have humbled his neighbor's wife, but previously in verse 22, it told you that that was a damsel that was betrothed. So in Hebrew customs and culture, once you are betrothed, that's already your wife. So I'm going to continue picking up at verse 35 in Luke chapter 1. It says, "And behold, all is named, the Lord shall give unto him the throne of his father David, and he shall reign over the house of
I'm
Jacob."
gonna skip past some of this stuff because I believe we're all familiar with the virgin birth narrative. I really want to get to this guy right here so I can laugh. The Aguilera guy, Christina Ahrahayhla. I want to get to him so I can laugh. Hold on. Shoot. Okay.
forever, and his kingdom there shall be no end. Then said Mary unto the angel, how shall this be, seeing I know not a man? So now we got a situation here briefly. Mary said, how is this going to be, being I know not a man? So is Mary oblivious as to how children are conceived? It just told.
Now I said you're not gonna like the tabs, not the content. You're not gonna like the tabs because my tabs. Every time I have all these tabs, I think you like, damn, I need to get rid of some of these tabs. And believe it or not, I got rid of some tabs. So I started saving them, bookmarking them. So that is considered nah. It got kind of crazy. It was like 7 tabs, something like that. No. Yeah, I'm saying you're not gonna like the tabs, not the content.
In a previous verse, she was already espoused, she was already betrothed. So I'm going to read it in ESV. It says, and Mary said to the angel.
Yeah, I went on one Clubhouse. Somebody finally promoted me after like forever. Finally got promoted to talk to, and they were doing the Virgin Birth, some crazy group, and I will never go to Clubhouse again. It is ridiculous. It's worse than it. I might as well call Crossing Line Radio. They wouldn't let me talk. They were saying I was wrong. Wouldn't let me finish. I had to get out of character. The old unbiased, scream and yell, cuss people out just to be heard. And then when they finally heard me, it was crickets because they were wrong in the Greek. Okay, with the whole begot born thing. So once I went in there, the whole thing was shut. And you know what they did? They didn't make it a replay, and that's why I would never do another. So it's 2 reasons. One, you can't talk; it's sloppy, it's all over the place. Everybody talking to each other, and then to even be promoted is like impossible to even speak. Then they have the option to not even have it as like a replay. So you did all that for nothing, and there's no like consolation replay for you, where you can say, all right, well, I could replay it and upload of mine. And in one sense, I was happy there was a replay because I was cussing them out so I could be heard. I came all the way out of character, straight werewolf, eyes turned green and everything, fur and ears, what I mean, Michael Jackson style on these dudes. Just so I finally talked. I was all hyper and I finally talked. They was quiet. They had no response, no rebuttal. So that's why I'm good with the Clubhouse. I'll pass. And then as I'm explaining, because remember they're messing up the Greek. So now I can't even, how much share my screen? So I had to just trust people that, hey, everybody look at it. And some people did look at it, but I doubt all did.
How will this be since I am a virgin? If you look at the NIV, how will this be, Mary asked the angel, since I am a virgin? And the NKJV.
Yeah. The person, that's a good point, Tone. So the person, when the person that claim God is real, the burden of proof is in them, and they should go first. So it's the person. Actually, no. Still, like, just my opinion. Still, the person who says he's not real should go first. I believe the negative side should go first all the time, because again, like, even God is like mostly accepted as real. So the person who's coming with the underdog argument, I think the burden of proof is more on them. Like, for example, if I'm sitting here and saying Black folks didn't come on slave ships, we were already here, we're the aboriginals, like, the burden of proof is on me because the world accepts the transatlantic slave trade. So if I come with the underdog argument, I got it, because like everybody pretty much know the first popular argument. People know about God of the religious books. People know about the virgin birth. People know about slavery. So you'll just be beating a dead horse if you went first. Like my man right here, like, why is he going first? He's reading passages we already know. So that's when, like, fast forwarding. Yeah, so the person on the negative side should go first because we already know the popular argument. If that makes any sense. I participated in 2-3 discussions during COVID. It'd be like, hey, yo, I cannot say participation for nothing. Yeah, what's up with that word? Yeah. I got to sit here and like, I got to like really fix my mouth to say it. I can't say that word for nothing. And yo, believe me, if I was like on a live or publicly speaking, I wouldn't even say that word. I'd come with a different word. Because I'm already on camera in front of people botching that word. And as I'm messing up, saying it, I'm like, I heard myself saying it wrong. So then I said it one more time just so I can make sure I'm saying it wrong. I'm on a microphone in front of people. I said, oh my God, I am saying it wrong. So the next chance I got to say it, I said something else. I said a replacement word. I know people like, what? Like, I know what he's trying to say. It's like when he said gentative, when he meant to say genitive, he said gentative. That's kind of what I did with participation. I just can't say that word, especially, I think it's the Asian. It's like that's, if I say participate, I could probably say that easier. But it's something when you add the Asian on there. Oh, the shun. You got that part.
Mary said to the angel, how
become a Hebrew illiterate.
can this be, since I do not know a man or dealt with a man at this point, obviously, or never told her about the birds and the bees. But I think the audience and her brother and the angel and of the high of thee. Now we got of thee. I didn't hear Joseph. I didn't hear him say, okay, you and your espoused husband gonna have sex. I didn't hear you and your husband is gonna lay with you before the marriage is consummated. Your husband is gonna lay with you before y'all. It didn't say that. The angel answered and said unto her, the Holy Ghost shall, the grammatical structure that my opponent spoke, the highest shall overshadow thee. Now let's deal with some of the grammatical structure that my opponent spoke about, which he gonna have to deal with later, and I don't believe he can. So it says right here, overshadow. The Greek word is espikiazo. It says to throw a shadow upon, to envelope in a shadow, to overshadow. Strong's definition, to envelope in a haze of brilliancy, figuratively to invest with preternatural influence. Okay. Brothers and sisters, real quick, type in preternatural in your browsers. What do that give you? Preternatural. The first thing that come up in Wikipedia, beyond what is normal or natural. Some synonyms for that: abnormal, supernatural, paranormal. Paranormal, supernatural, abnormal. So essentially, the angel just told her that the power of God is going to overshadow you and cause that which is not normal to occur. Henceforth, which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God. So Luke just answers saying the Holy Spirit is going to overshadow you and the power of God is going to cause that which is beyond normal to occur. And with that answer, it makes sense to why Mary's asking the question now, because any grown adult, especially a betrothed one, would know how children are conceived, even if you weren't married. If an angel came to you and told you were going to have a child one day, you would understand how this works in the normal circumstances. Henceforth, this was going to happen very soon. That's what the narrative is letting you know. And also, the angel never said you and your espoused husband are going to have sex before a wedding ceremony. I don't see that. As a matter of fact, I don't see Joseph's name mentioned anywhere in this verse in retrospect to the question. So if the question is asked and an answer is given, why would I add Joseph to that when it doesn't say it at all right here? But we're going to continue. We're going to go to Luke chapter 2. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. See this multiple times. So it's not as if, you know what I mean, starts to prophesy as far as Luke 1:39. So when you're in Luke 1, and we're going down to verse 67. Let me see. Okay, Luke chapter 1. I'm sorry, here we go.
2 minutes left.
All right. And Luke 1:39, and Mary arose in those days and went into the hill country and made haste into Judah. So when you get down to verse 67, it says, and his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Ghost and prophesying. So Zacharias is prophesying at this point. And Zacharias is prophesying, saying that she would raise up a horn of salvation in the house of his servant David. Problem is, Joseph ain't there. Joseph ain't here. Zacharias has the Spirit on him right now. He knows what's going on, and nobody ever mentions Joseph in this retrospect in Luke chapter 1. He never mentioned that this was through Joseph. Just more proof that Mary was at the house of David, because and everybody knows, even if you couldn't find your father's genealogy, you went by your mother's. So Jesus still had legal ties to the throne through Joseph's genealogy, but being that he wasn't Joseph's biological son, he avoids the curse of Jeconiah. But we're going to get into that later. But remember, Luke
Yeah.
focuses more on Mary's side of things, while
I've been dying to hear the Ebionites argument against the cursed seed.
Matthew focuses more on Joseph's side of things. But remember, Luke 1:67, Zacharias was filled with the Holy Ghost. And what does he say? Blessed be the Lord God of Israel. He have visited and redeemed his people and have raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Now in verse 26, in Luke 1:26, we see the angel came to her. She was not pregnant yet. As we continue to read down, now we get down to verse 69. Zacharias is propheting.
Hey, that's a good point. I might have to borrow that one.
Prophesying in the spirit of the Holy Spirit, and he understands, he knows what's going on. So he says that the Lord has raised up a horn of salvation in the house of his servant David, which was spake by the mouth of the prophets.
What spaces you be on, though, man? What you listening to that you debating?
Which have been since the world began. So okay, so I'm gonna go over to Luke chapter 3 and verse 23. And it says, and Jesus himself began to be.
And you notice something? This dude purposely takes off the clipping feature, or you can't clip something. So let me give you an example. You see, you can clip here. Look it over here. You can clip here. I mean, I just could click a random channel and the feature clip would be there. Let me do a random. Hold on. Let me do a random. I hate Safari, man. Oh my God, it takes forever to load. Come on. I can't click the NBA game. All right, so I'm gonna click an Israelite channel. Look, this is an Israelite channel. Look at this. You can clip. You can clip everybody's. You can clip from everybody's channel except for his. Like he takes the feature off, and only somebody with something to hide would do that, because clipping is like time marking something. It's like, okay, I only want to share this from the video, this starting point and this stopping point. When you take it off, you just left with this right here. You just left with a starting point. See? But there's no ending point. So if I say start from here, if I say start from our place right here, 14 minutes, but it's like, yeah, but there's an hour and 30 more minutes to go. It's like, when do I stop? See, the clipping has a stop already there for you.
About 30 years of age, being, as was supposed, the son of Joseph. Now, this Greek word is nomitzo, and it means to do by law, a custom.
Time.
Man, they beat his ass right away.
All right, that was round one for.
All right, that's.
Oh, Captain, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say pretty much what you was gonna say. That was round one. Drey had his time of 10 minutes. Now it'll be on Ahrahayhla. Ahrahayhla, when you're ready to go,
Christina
you can
Aguilera.
come off mute if you're ready, and we'll begin your time once you start speaking. All right.
Khan, again, first and foremost, I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemi Shai. All right, let's get right into it. This is the book of
Okay.
Matthew.
Your time gonna start now.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 1 and verse 1. The book of the generation of Jesus Christ,
All right,
the son of David, the
all right.
son.
So with this guy, I have to pull it up on this guy. Okay, you can't trust this guy right here, Christina Aguilera. All right. So as he read it, I'm gonna share my screen. He'll tell you Mary's the object. And if you can't see it, you'll probably believe this fool. Okay. Here we are.
of Abraham, right? So what we're seeing right here is the genealogy or the list of the descendants or the forefathers of who the world calls Christ. Okay. Verse 2, Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. So what we're going to see is a pattern of men begetting men. Now the word for beget in the Greek is G1080, geneo, right? Now the way
I told you I have to. And yo, hey, were y'all around yesterday when I showed the video of how to construct verbs in Spanish and construct conjugate? Construct is like a Hebrew. It's like, hold on. Oh, okay. All right, game over. Jets got beat up. Miami, MIA. So yesterday I showed the basic ways to conjugate verbs. You know, that verb conjugation is in English, it's in Spanish, it's in Greek. Hebrew, I think they use construct, something like that. Okay. So now you can construct a verb to make it apply to a pronoun. All right. There you go. If you don't conjugate verbs, it just stand as two. Like if I want to throw a football, right? If I want to say I want to throw a football, like the fact that I said I, and throw is a verb, I gotta conjugate that to say I throw the football, right? That's verb conjugation. The word throw by itself, the word verb. So if anybody grab a list of verbs, Spanish and English, it's going to be every verb will be listed in its infinitive sense. It'll just say to throw, right? If you go look up the word love as a verb, it's going to say to love. If you look up cook, it's going to say to cook. If you look up hit, it'll say to hit. Whatever action imaginable, the word to would be in front of it. And if you wanted to apply to someone, something, you have to conjugate it. All right. So, hold on. Just needs out of nowhere. All right. So now, the verb he's talking about is, he said 1080. Now listen to what he says. Now he's going to be breaking down the grammatical Greek structure somehow. Listen to him.
Is G1080, geneo, right? Now the way.
All right. So for one, this does not say geneo. Okay. There's no when it's a G, it's g, like gracias in Spanish. It ain't gracias. So this doesn't have a J sound. Okay, it's g, like garbage, like gracias. Okay, now watch this. Let's see how it's pronounced, because he keeps saying geneo, and this A is not a long A. The O is long, but this A is not long. Okay, and the O is long because the O here is long. Okay, but you don't see the O. Let's see. You don't see. Okay, you don't see the O here as long. So there's two O's in Greek. You have a long O and a strong O, or a short O. So this is ia, or well, not really, because it's part of a diphthong. But let me see. Okay, right here. This is perfect. See this over here? It's not part of a diphthong. So this is altas. So this is one O in Spanish, and this is a second O right here, the W. It looks like a W, and that's a long O. So the A is ah. It's not A like eight. It's like Allah. Okay. So it's ganao. See that little stress on top of it is letting you know that you're dealing with that O. So this is ganao. Listen.
Strong's G 1080. Ganao. Ganao.
Okay. So that's his first mistake. He's mispronouncing the Greek words. Now, but the word begot is not ganao, right? Because this is the unconjugated verb, sort of, because Greek is a little different in Spanish. So basically, in Greek, it's not like Spanish and English where the verb is in the to sense. In Greek, their 2 cents, like you know how you look up when I say, I'm not saying CENTS, I'm saying SENSE. Okay. And I'm saying two, like 2 O, not TWO. Okay. So in Greek, they don't have a to have, to cook, to know. Their infinitive is verbs are in the first person always only by root. So any verb you see in any sentence in Greek will be in the first person until you conjugate it. So this is why you're looking at genau, the root. And you see my pointer? Come on, come on, come on, come on. It says root, and right here it says inflected. So inflected means it's like conjugated. So the word genau is not here. You have this word here, the inflected root. The root is inflected. Okay, so look at that word right there, and then look at it here. You see, it looks like it says I here. It looks like it says I here. So right off the back, he's wrong. You're not looking at genau in the sentence, right? So there's no need to even talk about genau. Let's just talk about the word that's in the passage, which is egenesin.
Pattern of men, geneo, right? Now, the way grammar works in the Greek, you have inflected versions of verbs and other parts of speech, right? So when we're looking throughout this text, we're going to see that there's a pattern that is being set out, right?
And let me add one more thing. You see, there's an E right before the root doesn't have the E before the G, but the root has the E because in verbs, in most cases, the E represents past tense. So genau is present. Okay, egenesin is past tense. So that's why it won't say. This is why it says BEGAT. Past tense is not going to say BEGOT. All right, he won't know that.
Beginning men. I'm going to jump down to verse 16. It says, and Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ, right? So let's dive into the grammatical structure of Matthew, the first chapter, verse 16. All right, I'm going to read it in the Greek. It says, Jacob de egenisen down, Yosef down, Andra.
Like now, look, there is no need to read in the Greek, right? There's no need, really. There's no need. But he's not reading the Greek, by the way. Like, so he's doing that to show authority. You know how Sean would say, you appealing to authority. So he wants everybody to appeal to his authority over the Greek. Hold on. He's waking up. He's trying. He's fighting it. He took a late nap. I ain't gonna wake him up. All right. So he's only trying to read in the Greek to intimidate old boy. What? You up? Okay. So he's only reading in the Greek to try to intimidate him. I will put you back in that crib. Sometimes you wake up angry and you don't relax until you put him back in there. What? Okay, what you want? What you want? What? Okay, you want to go back in there? Oh, look at this. Ooh. Okay, all right, yeah, you're going back. You're going back. All right. So he's pronouncing well, he's trying to pronounce the Greek. And he's saying Yaakov, there's no Y sound. He's saying Joseph, there's no Y sound. But then when he get to Jesus, he'll say Iesus. So he'll pronounce Jesus right in the Greek with the E sound, Iesus. But he won't say Eoseph. He'll say Yosef. He won't say Yaakov. He'll say Yaakov. So it's like, dude, what are you reading? Are you reading Greek? What are you reading?
The Greek of Matthew, the first chapter, verse 16. All right, I'm going to read it in the Greek. It says, Jacob de egenisen down, Yosef down on.
He said Yosef. Oh my God. Dude, there's no Y.
Marias ex is egenithi Jesus olegemenos.
Damn, what the hell just happened?
Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, and Jesus still had.
And Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. So what we're going to see is a pattern, okay? So Mary, all right, has what's called grammatical case fires, determiners, adjectives, parts, Jacob.
There we go.
De egenisen down, Yosef down, Andra, Maria.
What is down? It's like he's speaking some type of Chinese dialect.
Ex is egenithi Jesus, olegemenos Christ.
He said Olegamenos. So now this part I'm not gonna share with you, just in case he's watching. I'm not gonna teach him correctly, but this is not O. All right. I mean, you just compress it; it'll tell you.
Strong's G 3588. Ha. Ha.
But he said O. Now here's his problem. He doesn't know why it says ha. He doesn't know why. You have to learn Greek correctly to know why this is ha, because there's other words that has the H sounding on it, the H sound, but you have to know that in advance, and you won't know in advance. But unbiased will know in advance, because some words will just be like Jesus, right? But sometimes it'll be hey Jesus. Well, that's an example. It's probably never going to say that in the Bible, but there's something that can happen to the word that can make it. You have to pronounce it with an H, like a ha. So normally this would be O, but he's wrong. This is ha. And this is not lego, whatever he just said. This is legamenas Christos. But again, when you never learn Greek correctly in the first place, you're going to make these grammatical errors.
Right? So why did I bring this out, right? Let's look at the first word, egenisen, right? This is Yaakov or Jacob begetting Joseph, who's the husband of Mary, right? That inflection is egenisen, right? So that it's in the aorist tense, it's in the active voice, it's in the indicative mood, and it's the third person. This is the grammatical structure of this particular verb. Okay, the active voice represents the subject as the doer or performer of the action. Example, in the sentence, Jesus returned to Capernaum, Jesus performs the action of returning. Okay, now let's look at Marias, right? Marias, okay, is the name for Mary. That's in the Greek. Okay, so Mary, all right, has what's this word is in the genitive case. Now, in grammatical case, all right, we have it's a category of nouns and noun modifiers, determiners, adjectives, participles, and numerables, which corresponds to one or more potential grammatical functions for a nominative group in wording. This is very important in understanding what if this thing is the subject, the object, or the possession in any particular sentence.
Yo, why do you keep saying object? Dude, it's called direct object. There's more than one object. There's an indirect object. Why do you keep saying object? That tells us nothing. If you're trying to parse a sentence, you need to explain which object are you speaking about. Okay, so is it indirect object or direct object? You can't just say object. That's not even proper grammar. What are you doing?
Right? So it's in the genitive case. Well, what does the genitive case mean? Right? Let's go into it. Right? So the genitive case refers to the case used for a noun, pronoun, or adjective to show ownership. Right? So what does this tell us? Right?
Yeah.
This tells us that Mary belongs to Joseph.
Now this is a retarded guy because he just said the genitive case shows ownership, and the genitive case is feminine, and it points to Mary. This does say Maria here, right? It does say Maria here, right? And the root and the inflected say Marias. So Marias, according to Aguilera's definition of owner, that means Maria will be owning something. Nobody's owning Maria. But again, you never learned Greek correctly the first time.
She
What the
belongs
last
to
time?
belongs to Joseph. She belongs to
Oh
him.
my God.
Because when we look at Hebrew culture, when a man gets a wife, he begins a possession. Let's read that real quick.
No. Let's not go to
This is the book
Hebrew
of Sicarii.
culture. Let's stick with the grammatical structure you're supposed to be breaking down. You're running from what your statements are, bro.
Chapter.
This custom has nothing to do with the genitive case. So this is wild. Yo, wouldn't you guys believe that when you buy a pet, you're the pet's owner? Right? When you guys agree with that? But do you know that if the dog is if the focus is on the dog, or not even that, do you know if the dog is in the genitive case, the dog owns you? It would say the dog's owner. So it would say the dog's owner, pointing back to you, but the dog, D-O-G, apostrophe S, unbiased computer, apostrophe S, you see? So just because you literally, the dog is yours, you bought it. If the sentence says the dog's owner, the sentence is just simply stating that the dog owns you, like you belong to the dog. Okay. Also, you could be in the genitive case. I'm saying genitive. See, when you listen, I keep doing this. I listen to these guys. They throw this illiteracy at me, and I repeat it. Okay. So also, the person, the human, can be in the genitive. Okay, by saying, "That's my dog," or something like that. Real simple. All right.
Right.
Or it could be unbiased dogs. See? Now I'm in the genitive.
Chapter 36 and verse 24 it reads, "He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like
he said like true
to himself, and a pillar of rest."
Now, where he's going now makes no sense, dude. You need to show us the example that's similar to this one. You need to show us somehow, somewhere, somebody's in a genitive and is similar to Mary in a genitive. Reading us a story just for no reason means nothing. And in court, this would be objective. Like, yo, what are you doing? Are you done with explaining genitive, or are you still explaining genitive? Because if you're still explaining genitive, then what does this guy do with it? Who's in the genitive here? Like, you got to let us know that. We have no idea. It's like a red herring. We have no idea where you're going.
She again. Let's look at the inflected version of the word Janeo in reference to Joseph, right?
Now he keeps saying Janeo. Again, don't know how he learned Greek, because believe me, if you get a Greek tutor, there's a whole bunch of them. If you do online Greek lessons, they're going to have you pronounce that Ganao. Okay? they're not gonna have you pronounce that Janelle. No, and I'm gonna say that there's not a certified Greek teacher who's gonna have you pronounce that Janelle.
So it's inflected as egenethi as opposed to egenesen, right? It's in the aorist tense. It's in the passive.
Okay, so now he's talking about this verb, egenethe or egenethi. Okay. Now this is in the passive, so let him go more.
It's in the passive voice, okay? And it's in we have Salakia. We have the indicative mood in third person. The passive represents the subject as being the recipient of the action. So what does this tell us when we put this
It tells us that if you're the recipient of the action, you are the direct object. That's what it tells us. That's what it tells us. Okay? That's all it tells us. When it says it's the passive voice, and the passive voice is a definition of passive, represents the subject as being the recipient of the action. We were confronted, the subject, we received the action. Okay? Direct object. All right, so now when we go back to the first verb, begot, egenesen, this one says active. And active is the doer or initiator of the action. If I push no man receives the action from my push. She's the direct object of my push. If I'm the one who pushes no man, I pushed her. I'm the doer of the action. So I will be acting in the active voice. No man receiving the push will be acting in the passive voice. Okay. Watch how he botched this.
Mary is the object that belongs to Joseph.
Where did we read that? So he had us read active of the verb begot. He had us read passive of the verb born. And then he had us read Maria and what case she's in, what voice she's in. She's in the genitive, which shows, he said, ownership. Something belongs to her. Something, but she, okay. I don't know if we're reading this correctly. Dude, if she's in a genitive, that means something belongs to her. That's why I said the dog's owner. If the dog is in a genitive, then something belongs to him, and that's his owner. Or the dog's leash. Okay? The dog would be in a genitive still, the leash belongs to him. All right. So somehow he keep calling Mary the object when he read that in the born passive definition that it shows somebody is the recipient of this action. Okay, so this is a verb. Keep in mind, this is a verb. Let me click it. V stands for verb. All right. 3S stands for third person singular. We got active. We got passive. We got aorist. We got passive. And we got indicative. So this is a passive verb. That's all you need to know. It's passive. And this verb being passive lets you know that somebody is receiving the action of this verb. So the person who's receiving the action of this verb, egenethe, they are the direct object. And you see we have the word Jesus here. Jesus is receiving the action of this verb. Because this is passive, so he's the indirect object. That's all that's showing you. He keep calling Mary an object. He's not saying which object, but she's neither. Because we clicked her name, she's in the genitive. A direct object in Greek, the verb will list, you'll be listed as, the verb would say dative. A dative verb is somebody is acting as the indirect object. Okay.
This tells us that Joseph is the one who receives the action, or he's the one that's doing the action, in other words.
Wait. You can't have both, dude. You're either the doer of the action or the receiver. Okay. So let me bring you guys back to the English. All right. So Joseph is here. So now Joseph is being begot. Okay. You're going to be good this time. Okay. So Joseph is being begot. Do I have to ask this question? Is Joseph receiving the action, or is he the doer of the action begot? When it says Jacob begot Joseph, is Joseph receiving the action from begot, or is he doing the action of begot? Okay. This is basic English here. Joseph is receiving the action. So Joseph is the direct object to this action verb, begot. Jacob is the doer. Joseph is receiving. Jacob the father, Joseph the son. All right. What is this dude talking about?
Of begetting action, or he's the one who tells us that Joseph is the one who receives the action, or he's the one that's doing the action, in other words, of begetting Christ. Now,
all right. So now we have a problem, Houston, because this verb begot says that this verb right here, begot, says Iakob de begaton Iosef. Okay, so this word begot is in the active. So it's just pointing to the doer of the verb, which is, so it's pointing back to Jacob. Okay, but this verb born, where it says Mary of whom born, or it just says whom pronoun was born Jesus, this verb is what? This verb is passive. So this points to a direct object as well. And that direct object is the subject. Okay? So it's pointing to a direct object. So both verbs are pointing to a direct object. This verb is pointing at Joseph. This verb is pointing at Jesus. Okay.
what I'm going to bring up, Joseph is the one who receives the action, or he's the one that's doing the action, in other words, of begetting Christ. Now, what I'm going to bring out is something called the Syriac Sinaiticus. The Syriac
Sinaiticus. Here we go with this one. So he claims, okay. So let me just show you how foolish this sounds, okay? All right. Now what? What? Again? Let's go. All right. Let's hear this argument.
Or codex, all right, is a
okay. I got it. So now he this is what he's doing. So let me rewind that.
Or action, or he's the one that's doing the action, in other words, of begetting Christ. Now, what I'm going to bring out is something called the Syriac Sinaiticus. The Syriac Sinaiticus, or codex, all right, is a late 4th or early 5th century manuscript of 179 folios containing a nearly complete translation of the 4 canonical gospels.
So it's a translation. I was waiting for that word. So, but he's not going to go to Syriac because he can't read Syriac. Okay. So by him saying he's going to Syriac, It's like me saying I'm going to the Greek, and I'll just show you this right here. All right, everybody, I'm going to the Greek. It says Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judas and his brethren. Did anybody just see any words in Greek here? But so I'm not going to the Greek, right? I'm going into the English translation of what I believe is the Greek. That's what just happened. That's what happened just here. So he's going to do the same thing. So let me pull up what he's going to read. It's going to be in English. Hold on. Give me a second. I want y'all to read along in English with him. So if you guys are reading English, he's reading English, and nobody's reading Syriac. Okay, can we admit that? If y'all all can read this, nobody's reading Syriac. All right. Let's see. I want all the evidence. I'll find it later, but let's look at it later. I forgot where I saved the damn thing. Maybe I got it. Hold on. I give up. I don't know what folder I put it in. No, that can't be that one. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, yeah, I got it. I got it. Okay. So this is hilarious. Watch this. So, oh. So it says Sinaiticus, right? PDF. All right. And guess what? Let's go in it. Let's go in it. Let's go in it. So this is the Syriac. All right. This is what he thinks he's reading. Syriac Sinaiticus. But this is what he's actually reading. Okay, so just let you know that the Syriac Sinaiticus is a translation of the four Gospels. Okay, Syriac of the Sinaiticus pamphlet set. Right, it's a translation. We'll get to that a little later. All right, so look what's going to happen. So I see a lot of English here, right? To have a Syriac Sinaiticus. Okay, let me keep going down. A lot of English here to have a Syriac. There we go. All right. So he's going to be reading this. Verse 16. This is what he'd be reading. Now, does this look like Syriac to you guys? Or does this look like no different than my King James Bible? Okay, so I'm going to bring you to verse 16. All right. Okay. So we're here. Let me go to his audio. All right. Oh, not that. And let's read in English with him. He damn sure read in Syriac.
Words of begetting Christ. Now, what I'm going to bring out is something called the Syriac Sinaiticus. The Syriac Sinaiticus, or Codex, all right, is a late 4th and or early 5th century manuscript of 179 folios containing a nearly complete translation of the 4 canonical Gospels of the New Testament into Syriac. Syriac is a dialect of the Syrian language, Aramaic. Okay, so when we look at the Syriac Sinaiticus, all right, I'm going to read Matthew 1:1. It says, "The book of the generations of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, Isaac begat Jacob, Jacob begat Judah, so forth and so forth." Let's read verse 16 in the Syriac Sinaiticus.
Okay, so you're not reading the Syriac Sinaiticus. Okay, you are reading English. So let's not fall for that. You're reading English. Okay, you're not reading Syriac. You're reading English. So can you imagine if I'm on Sunday TV, I'm up there with Wujawu, and I'm trying to tell Wujawu the meta netter is saying something other than what he says, then I say, okay, look, I'm going to read it. And I got a whole bunch of glyphs up there, right? I got Smash right there. I got Brother Reggie. And I got a whole bunch of glyphs up there. And then I go ahead and read an English rendition, an English translation. What are they going to say? Like, bro, I thought you was going to read the glyphs. Like, you're reading English. You're reading an English translation. And they might say it's a bad one at that. Okay? So anyway, I want to point out that he's not reading Syriac. If you can read this right here, then you're not reading Syriac either.
The son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, Isaac begat Jacob, Jacob begat Judah, so forth and so forth. Let's read verse 16 in the Syriac Sinaiticus. Mathan begat Jacob, Jacob begat Joseph, Joseph, to whom was betrothed Mary, the virgin, begat Jesus, who is called the Christ. So as we look in the grammatical structure in the Greek translations, the Textus Receptus, it's abundantly clear through.
Wait, so the Greeks, what you have in Greek, is not a translation. Okay, so again, see, as we talk to somebody who's unlearned, they start calling everything a translation. The Greeks are called the Greek copy, the manuscript are called the original. So when he had this, when he's reading an English translation of a Syriac translation, and that Syriac translation is supposed to be translated from the Greek. Now, guess what? There is not one Greek manuscript in the world that says this. Okay? So if we're on Sunday TV, where the standard's supposed to be held high, or Garfield's podcast, where the standard's held high, the question is, brother, first of all, you're not reading Syriac. You're reading English. So we don't even know if the Syriac says that. You're reading an English translation of what you believe come from a Syriac translation. The first question I will have is, brother, what Greek text is your Syriac translation interpreted from or translated from? You're going to say no. So you don't even have a source. So there's no source to your translation. Okay, fine. Let's move past that, brother. Can you verify what you're reading in English is actually in the Syriac? No. Okay, so we move past that. So, brother, you just go on the internet and just find the first something that disagrees with the original Greek text, and that's good enough for you. So all this textual criticism, all stuff, go out the door. Oh, this agrees with me? I'll take it. All right. He's wild.
Grammatical structure that
somebody tried that with me in a real formal debate. It was hilarious. In a real formal debate, somebody had tried this with me. It was hilarious.
Joseph is the one who's doing the beginning of Jesus Christ. All right. My opponent will not be able to refute that because he has no idea what case or voice or any of these grammatical structures of the Greek even mean. When we look,
okay, so you see what he bases, and again, Sean, like this is literally he wants you to appeal to his authority. He's basically saying since you can't, what he believes, I don't know yet. I haven't played a guy argument for his rebuttal, but he's basing his argument off you don't know the Greek, so he can mess up, extract, put there, deduct, add, whatever you want. And you have to believe it because you don't know the Greek structures.
at the Syriac Sinaiticus, an early 4th and 5th century.
Okay, so now you heard him change his mind. He said an earlier, and then he said, "Let me clear my throat." An early, it's not earlier than Greek, brother. Okay, Greek is the earliest manuscript, and it's not. And the Greek manuscript is called the authentic word. That means it's not translated from anything. When it was written down, it was written down in Greek by the authors of the Gospels.
Folio, right? Codex, it tells us very plainly when we look at the translation that Joseph is the one who is begetting Jesus Christ. Now,
and I'm not even sure this English translation is saying that. I'm not even sure this is saying it. It sounds like it could be, but it's not. It's not clear because we still got betrothed Mary the Virgin, so we're still talking about Mary the Virgin, and we still got Mary the Virgin begetting Jesus. So I'm not even like 100% clear. The Syriac is absolutely saying Joseph begot Jesus. But again, even if it was, everybody, he will have to demonstrate that this translation, this English translation, is not a bad translation because it is different from your King James. So somebody's wrong. So he has to demonstrate that this is an accurate translation from the Syriac. And then if he's able to do that, which he cannot do, then he got to tell us where the Syriac translation comes from, because that was translated from somewhere. So what Greek text was that translated from? So we can say, yeah, it all lines up. So his line of evidence, it doesn't line up at all. He can't pass first. He can't pass stage one, which is, brother, does the Syriac say this, what this English says? Does it match word for word? Like, how can easily show you in the Greek it matches word for word? Can he do that with the Syriac? He cannot do that. All right. So this is one of those appeal to authority moments.
What's important is people like to play and get into muddiness and ambiguity when they read verses 18 through 20, right? But let's read verse 17 because this has to be established. Because verse 1 tells you this is the generation or the genealogy of Jesus Christ, okay? And he's an Israelite, a Hebrew. We're going to jump into that in a second, right? But Matthew 1 and 17 is very important. It says, so all of the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. And from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. From Abraham to David, guess what? We got men begetting men. All right. From David to the carrying away into Babylon, we have men begetting men. From the carrying away to Babylon, we have men begetting men. Somehow we have to suspend our intelligence, right? My opponent spoke to intelligence. He wants you to suspend your intelligence and say, you know what? We have a pattern of men begetting men, but somewhere in the midst of verse 16, now we have a woman begetting a man. That does not make any sense. He is not going to be able to show you who Mary's father is. He will not be able to show you that.
Well, he actually don't. The burden of his proof is to show you who Jesus' father is and who Jesus' father isn't. Okay, this is the virgin birth debate, right? So, and you guys disagree on. You both agree on who Jesus' mother is. Okay, you both agree that his mother is Mary. You disagree on who his human father is. So his burden of proof is not what you think it is, which is he got to show Mary's father. That's irrelevant. What he got to do is just show how Joseph isn't Jesus' biological father. And what you got to do is you got to show Joseph is Jesus' biological father. That's it. but they like to give you more burden of proofs. It's like, no, I don't got to do that. I don't know why I got to do that. The debate topic is the debate topic.
Do not be able to show you that Mary is of the house of David, right? But we see all throughout the scriptures that
Yeah, but you can't show Joseph begetting Jesus. You haven't done that.
that Joseph is called thou son of David. Okay, so it's very important to
We don't care who he's called, whose son he's called. We care about whose son he has. All right, birth son. We want to know about his birth son. That's it. So when you say, "Hey, David come from the line of, Joseph come from the line of David. Joseph is the son of Jacob," that's all fine. But we're waiting for you to show us how Jesus is the son of Joseph, because that is the debate topic that they all like to switch around and focus on Mary's father. Like, dude, was Mary born an immaculate birth, or was it Jesus? So Mary's father is irrelevant. We want to know who Jesus' father is.
understand the cultural context and the history was going on with the Israelites. Now, let's go to the book of Numbers. Actually, before that, let's go to the book of Hebrews chapter 7 and verse 14. It reads, thus and so, for it is evident. All right, it is.
Let me read some chat. Sorry. Grammar won't matter then. Just show us where it says it. If he's pleasing himself, I guess he was begot by Jacob. It literally says Jacob begot. How is it even? I don't know. The fact you need 100 supplemental text to understand the word is just spiritually exhausting. Apparently, all scholars have suspended intelligence. Yeah. And so then it comes to the conspiracy theory thing, where they go back to the Council of Nicaea, which is irrelevant because the Greek text was there before that council. So their arguments are all over the place. And again, no man, like there's a overwhelmingly scholar unanimous decision on this. Like this is not a debate. Like a better scholarly debate would be the Trinity versus Unitarianism. Like that is a better, because you have now scholars disagree. You dig? But when it comes to the virgin birth like that, that's a one-sided argument. That's not even up for debate. But you know how our people do. We like to debate things that been resolved. That's like already stamped as either false or true. We like to resurrect it 100, 200, in this case, hundreds of years later and make it a new debate. But again, like that falls on our miseducation, you know, from probably to some schools, but definitely teachers. So Tone says, real talk. They only go down these grammar rabbit holes so they can justify inferring Joseph having. Yeah. I said, let's go on.
It is very evident, right? The Greek word for evident, all right, is antelos, right? Let me get it real quick.
2 minutes left.
Okay. Let's get it real quick. The word for evident is the Greek word prodelos, Strong's G4271, which means it's openly evident, known to all, manifest. So it's known to all, right? That our Lord sprang out of Judah. Sprang out of Judah. Now let's look at the word for spring. It's the Greek.
Spring just means to rise. But what's your point? Because you're saying Judah. So the Lord in this case is Jesus. He sprang out of Judah. He's the seed of Abraham, seed of David. Can you show us that he sprang out of Joseph? Can you show us he's the seed of Joseph? All this other stuff is irrelevant because nobody disagrees. Everybody, so sprang out of Judah. Tone is the same language as the seed of Abraham, seed of David. Same language. Sprang out of Judah, seed of Judah, same thing. Yeah, so spring just means rise. Come on, man.
Word G93, anatello. Let's look at that. Anatello, okay? It says, to cause to rise of the earth, bring forth plants, to arise, from, to descend from. This is literally what the word means, to descend from. So it appears that it's evident that he descends from Judah. And we see Judah begetting his brethren in verses 3 and verse 4. All right. And we see, guess what? Joseph is the one begetting it, because this is the pattern that has been established by Matthew, an eyewitness who walked with Christ, who knew Christ. What he's going to do is conflate a timeline in Luke, which is in dealing with Mary before Christ is even born.
Can y'all just, they both did this. They both tried to be ahead of each other's argument. because the brother did it too. I don't like that. Dude, just give your strong argument, because I'm not blaming him alone. The dude Drey did it too. He said, yo, he gonna say this. Like, dude, let him just say it. Because what happens if he doesn't say it? Yeah, like, yo, just state your argument, man. And deal with what he says when he says it. Like, that's so they both did it, and it's so corny. He gonna say that, like, you scared? Are you scared of that? You concerned, Drey? Is Drey concerned with what Aguilera's gonna do? And is Aguilera concerned what Drey's gonna do? He's gonna conflict some time. Like, they both like, oh, he gonna say so. He's dry snitching. Like, dude, let him just say it. And when he say it, just address it.
Okay, who is a second-hand witness. Luke did not walk with Christ, first and foremost. Okay, now let's go.
And you know what's funny when they say that? They say Luke is a second-hand witness. And then I ask them, because they stand by the Apocrypha. I say, okay, so what, the wisdom of Solomon, right? What hand witness is that of Solomon? Hi, you gonna be good? Huh? Okay. So it says the Apocrypha has a book called The Wisdom of Solomon. What hand witness is that of Solomon? Because Solomon knew nothing of Greek, and Wisdom of Solomon was written in Greek, probably like 1,000 years from Solomon. So if Luke is a secondhand source and you have a problem with Luke, then what type of problem do you have with the Apocrypha, the part of it that's written in Greek? That means you got to have a major issue with the Greek section of the Apocrypha. Like, yo, the logic is just silly, man. It just pick and choose. Either deal with the books or don't deal with them. Like, from the door. Like, I had one guy on here that simply said, yo, I don't deal with Paul's letters. He said, I'll debate you, but I don't want to deal with no epistles of Paul, none of that stuff. I said, okay, fine. 4 Gospels it is. And he got the butt whooping of his life. So much so, he stopped dealing with them mid debate. Hell, man, I'm just the Old Testament. Like, damn, I beat him all the way to the Old Testament. Yeah, so anyway.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18, it reads thus and so. And they declare they assemble all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declare their pedigrees or their lineage after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old.
This is a case of, like, really misrepresenting the text. Like, they just find a passage that they like that agrees with their argument, and then they will, like, literally just start reading from there and don't give you no context of what just happened before or after.
And upward by their poles. Let's go to Ezra chapter 2 and verse 59. It reads thus and so. These are they which came up from Tel Melah, Tel Harsah, Cherub, Adon, and Amur. But they could not sow their father's house and their seed, whether they were of Israel. The word for seed in the Hebrew is Zerai. It's translated as sperma in the Greek. Romans.
Now, yo, right now, y'all gotta admit, he's saying a whole bunch of, like, just a lot of stuff. So they normally do this. Now, I've never seen him do this in a structured debate, or maybe I did. I just don't recall it. But he's saying a whole bunch of nothing in a structured debate. It's like, dude, how much time do you really think I have? Like, you're saying a whole bunch of stuff I disagree with, but how much time do I have to, like, really debunk all this stuff? So now he's all over the place. He's just saying a whole bunch of nothing now. Whole bunch of, like, dude, stick to one thought, be strong on it, and explain it and educate.
1 and 3, Paul, who is an
All
right, with that I yield.
All right, so now, Drey, you'll have your 10 minutes to continue your build or respond to what Ahrahayhla said, but this is your 10 minutes.
That was a
The
poor.
time will start once you begin speaking.
Rebuttal.
Let me go and reset my clock as well.
Got you. While you doing that, make sure you guys are following the God First Game platform and the other platforms. When you click my profile, you go down to the bottom. You'll see the other rooms that we have available during the week. Make sure you're following the Versus platform. Click that little greenhouse at the top, nominate others. You have that option and become a member. And you just coming into the room, make sure you ping it. Get some people into the room so we can actually enjoy this build. We have round 2 right now. We at the top of round 2. Drey is to go first. at the top of round 2. So I'm gonna let Cap take it. I got
Yeah.
the time said I'm in, Cap.
No sweat. So Drey, once you begin speaking, we'll start your time. So if you want to come off mute, and as soon as you begin, we'll begin.
So all praises. I appreciate that. And real quick, y'all, when he references the Syriac Sinaiticus, now I figured he was going to do that, but just a little side note disclaimer. It's ironic when you consider the organization. When we reference the Septuagint, they say Job was an Israelite according to the Syriac book. They say, oh, it's that Syriac book.
I can't stop
it.
it.
Now I told you the hypocrisy, the double standard of these guys, it's going to break them down. He messed up. He went to Matthew chapter 1. Check it out. I want to go where he went. Matthew 1:16. The husband of Mary. Now the subject matter changes, and that's why
God damn, I can't stop it. Damn, you know what? Let me get out of this Safari stuff, man. Like for real. God damn, I can't even stop it. This is wild. You heard us talking all fast.
the Lord.
I gotta press play now like 1,000 times.
And real quick, y'all, when he references the Syriac Sinaiticus, now I figured he was going to do that, but just a little side note disclaimer. It's ironic when you consider the organization. When we reference that Septuagint, that say Job was the Israelite according to the Syriac book, they say, oh, well, that's that Syriac book. Look where he at now. I told you the hypocrisy, the double standard of these guys, it's going to break them down. But
And don't I say the same thing? Now, these guys show Job, I guess in the Syriac, was an Edomite. White in the Hebrew language, a white man. And then they said, nah, the Syriac doesn't count. And now he's in the Syriac trying to make a whole weight when it says Joseph, according to Ahrahayhla, he believes it's saying Joseph begot Jesus in the Syriac. But so according to Drey, he's saying they accept the Syriac when it agrees with their argument and they reject it when it disagrees with their doctrine. I told you guys they do this. But when your leader is a high school dropout, current thug, and street criminal, what do you expect?
messed up. He went to Matthew chapter 1. Check it out. I want to go where he went. Matthew 1.
I'm trying to pinpoint his accent. Matthew, yeah. Where's that? Oh, that is Missouri. That is Missouri. Yeah, his accent is Missouri. How much I want to bet? His accent is Missouri. He sounds just like Hitman Holler, yeah.
16. The husband of Mary. Now the subject matter changes, and that's why I love the Lord that we serve.
I guarantee you, old boy from Missouri.
I ain't even gonna have to do much. The Lord finna show you the demonstration, so he can't tap dance or backflip through no hula hoops. The subject matter is Mary now. It says of whom, which is in the Greek ekos. He said it's genitive.
Yeah, I rewinded it back. I didn't mean to. Somehow I don't know how I didn't even do that on purpose. Like, look how that happened. Like, how is it possible I go into the speed without going to the option first? I gotta go here first. How was I able to speed it up without going to that? Going to the settings option? That was. Somebody give me that trick. Show me that trick.
But it's a genitive singular feminine, and it means out of, from, by. In the Strong's definition, primary position denoting origin from out of a place, time, or cause. Again, subject matter being Mary. And we know this is the case because look at this, brothers and sisters. Look at.
So they're both wrong on that. The subject matter is not Mary. The subject. Oh, that I wonder why he kept saying versus me. And now it's on. That makes sense now. The guy Christina Ahrahayhla, when he kept saying Mary's not the subject, he said that with me and Meech, and I was like, why I keep saying it? That's because this brother did this debate he had here traumatized him. So he kept saying Mary's not the subject. Now it makes sense. This is wild. Yeah, but Mary's not the subject, and neither is Joseph or Jacob. The subject in Matthew 1:16 is Jesus. That's easily proven.
Other verses where a woman is
included. That's irrefutable.
Is included. Verse Matthew 1:3. And Judas begot Phares and Zara of Thamar. And Phares begot Ezra, and Ezra begot Aram. But look at this, verse 5. And Salmon begot Boaz of Reshab. And Boaz begot Obed of Ruth. So when you get down to verse 16, and Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary. So not only does it dismiss the begat phase and change the subject matter, but look at the other verses that contain women in them. I'll repeat it again, just for the sake. Salmon begot Boaz of Reshab. It could have just simply said in verse 16, and Joseph begot Jesus of Mary. So not only do we dismiss one example of begot, but it even dismisses the original phase of how it was even including the women in the verse. Because now when Mary is included, it says, and Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus Christ. And yes, when we get to that of whom, I want to bring that out real quick. Here it is. It said, okay. Where it is, Rashad. And in verse 16, and like I said, not
Apparently, this debate was had before he debated myself and Meech.
does it change the format of begot, but it also changes up the format on how it was previously denoting men and women in the very same chapter. Again, letting you know that Joseph did not begot Jesus. So what it actually tells you in the verse 16, so Joseph being the husband of Mary, subject matter changes. He's talking about I'm not gonna deal with the grammatical structure again. That is a genitive singular feminine. So now we're talking about Mary, of whom, of from, out of was born, begot. That's where you get your word geno, which is begot in the other verses. That's what it's telling you.
Yeah, but the word, see, both of them don't understand. Like they do making more sense, but Christina Ahrahayhla had introduced like the bad research, so now everybody's just using it. Okay, but it was his deception to pop it off. Like even when he said gentative, like that's in my mind. So when I repeat the words, I repeat his words. So is Christina Ahrahayhla who keep inserting the bad information, and people use that as the evidence. So now he's saying Janelle, but the word is not Ganeo. The word is Ganao, but it's not in the. It doesn't even matter how to pronounce it because it's not in the passage. Okay, Ganao is not in the passage. So, but Christina Ahrahayhla got him thinking that, and this Eganesen and Eganethi. That's it, or Eganethe. That's it. There's no Ganao here. All right.
It's saying out of Mary, whom begat Jesus, who is also called the Christ. And then let's continue. I want to go down to Matthew 1 and 18. Let's continue. He stopped there. Let's keep it rolling. Now, the birth of Jesus Christ was.
Wait, but before you go there, he was right about that one. Mary, this is out of whom. Okay, so whoever whom is the whom. Okay, so they might be debating whether Mary or Joseph begot Jesus, but what you cannot argue is the whom is the person who born Jesus, right? So nobody can debate that. I never had one of them disagree with that, and I don't think you guys disagree. The whom is responsible for borning Jesus. So we need to know who is the whom. When it says Mary of whom, or is it Joseph, the husband of Mary of whom? All right, that's the argument. Now,
This wise was this way. It happened thus this way. When as his mother was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Once again, that ekos right there, host. So it's telling you no, out of or from or by the way or the cause was the Holy Ghost. Where do we read that at? Maybe Luke 1 and 35, when Mary asked, how shall this be, being I know not a man? Or the power of God shall overshadow you. Right there. So we got.
You know what's interesting? Like this guy debates this, and like, he brought it out, I brought it out, and Meech brought it out, and this guy still act like nobody brought it out. So like he's purposely neglecting this information, holding on the Sicarii doctrine. Like, so he's purposely doing this. And don't forget, they get mad at pastors for that they believe is purposely holding on to like false doctrine. They're doing the same thing. And that's why I always say, yo, they're really not mad at the church. They're not mad at the white man. They're really jealous of the church. They're jealous of who they call the white man.
Same situation. So we're going to continue down. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not
because the first chance they get, they dethrone. I mean, like they pseudo dethrone a white man. They sit in that seat and begin to rule like nothing changed.
willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privately. Now, my opponent, first off, will have to show me what put her away privately mean, because again, it's letting you know based on Joseph's righteousness, on the accountability of Joseph being a righteous man, he was about to do something else that was righteous. So let's read this verse. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, not willing to make her a public example. Another side note, why ain't they a public example? Why he say make them a public example? Make us a public example. Why would she be the only one made a public?
Right, and that's something else that don't make any sense. That the one Westerners guys do. That whole story will make sense. If Joseph is the one in the wrong, I always ask them, well, why would Mary be? Why is the burden on Mary if Joseph is the one that's wrong? Why is it on him? Like, what happened to accountability? But you know, cult leaders, they're gonna make themselves holy and women the devil.
Example, was minded to put her away privately. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy 22. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 22, because it tells you in Torah law, if a man lays with, matter of fact, let me go ahead. Oh my, it's froze up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Deuteronomy 22 and 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a man. Okay, now this is the wrong one. This is when he lay with her in the city. Here it is. Let me get this one. Because it lets us know in Torah law, Joseph went ahead, no reason to put her away. Okay. Boom. All right. So Joseph, being a just man, was about to sin for doing something that was not even a sin. Again, remember, the verse just told you, Joseph, being a just man, was minded to put her away privately. What does the law say you do if a man entice a woman who was not betrothed? First off, he can't show us nowhere in the law where it's a sin to lay with your betrothed wife. First off, and if he can, show me. Show me what the law that Joseph violated, which substantiated him putting his wife away. Brothers and sisters, if Joseph laid with this woman and was minded to put her away privately, how righteous is that? The narrator would have just said, oh, well, Joseph was minded to put her away privately. It's almost like saying you caught a thief in your house, and Brian, being a merciful man, let the thief go. He didn't call the police. But they're trying to make you think, oh, well, Joseph was a righteous man, but he was about to sin for something that wasn't even sin. What type of sense do that make? But this way, he's going to have to reconcile when we talk, because we're going to definitely talk about it. So let's go to the verse real quick. We like to substantiate all things.
Mine. It's red. Okay. Red. Blue. Blue.
How did it freeze up? I just want to read this verse. Okay, 1 second. My bad. It froze up, y'all.
Blue. Red. Red. Where blue at?
Okay, boom.
That blue. Get that blue.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So Deuteronomy 22 blue. And 28. If anybody want to go there. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, and he may not put her away all the days of his life. So wait a minute. Joseph, being a just man, was about to put away a woman he impregnated when there's not even a law against what he did. No, and it don't work like that. That's what they want you to believe. See, they got to smear the character of Joseph. That ain't nowhere in Torah law where you can see it's a sin to lay or sleep with your espoused or betrothed wife. But Joseph could have moved the wedding up. They could have just moved the wedding up. Brothers and sisters, what were they going to do in 3 to 6 months when Mary's belly kept protruding? The last person she was betrothed to was Joseph. What would he have done then? It's letting you know he was a just man, because a just man, and I'm going to read it, Micah chapter 6, verse 8. Show you what a just man is, because brothers, they'll say, well, he should have had her stoned, or the law says he should have killed her. Anybody saying that is simple and don't know what they're talking about. Micah 6 and 8. He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. Even Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, 43 through 47, love your enemies and bless them that curse
you. Yeah, that's actually a good passage.
You pray for them which use you.
2 minutes left.
Yes, sir. That's a form of mercy. So anybody walking around saying he should have stoned her, no, Okay, because there's no law that substantiated. He didn't see anything. He didn't know what had happened, and
Yeah, I always wanted to show me like what law said you're righteous if you get somebody killed. Like hey, let's kill everybody. What? Okay.
he pondered on these things. Why is he pondering on some if he slept with her and laid with her? Matthew chapter 19 and 9. Jesus said, if a man
Yeah,
put
yeah.
away a woman.
I told Meech yesterday that that like we pretty much retired this debate. Like, you know, we just gonna get to oh, we pretty much retired it from the underlings. Like the guys that's kind of in charge over the underlings. Like some of them are exposed to it, but there's a couple leaders like Elder Nathaniel and Gorilla Hebrew who has not yet been humbled all the way. Like there's moments where they've been humbled on the internet, but not all the way. But it's gonna happen. So let me show y'all some good news. Let me share my screen to some good news. Watch this. God damn. That's not what I want to do. All right, let me just stop it. All right, let me show y'all this. Yeah, because this subject is like it been done, but it was necessary because the work wasn't done. We reached a lot of brothers where they really still hold to the Sicarii and one Western doctrine, but they're starting to like drop the virgin birth argument. A lot of them like not even interested in that. Okay, you know that's a way of conceding, like But let me show y'all this though. I think you're gonna like this. Okay. I think you're gonna like this. All right. Okay. All right. So this right here I'm talking about. So I wrote Dr. Brown, who's been on Dr. Michael Brown, who's been on the Hebrew Israelites head. So I let him know, listen, man, I had nearly 200 debates with these guys. I got a rebuttal for every argument they have. We've been beating them up. And I said, you know, I'm interested to see what you think of some of their claims and some of my rebuttals. Like, I want to compare notes with you. Like, what do you think if I'm on to something, if I'm 100% right, according to your research and knowledge? What do I got to tighten up? And you know, let's get it. So he responded. He said, please write to info, right? And you would think, hey, he tell everybody that. But hold on. He said, ask that your information be sent to. He gave me the name. I didn't show it because I want people, obviously, like this was a name that he had given to me. I don't want anybody to say that name because this is like a fast way to get my response answered and dealt with. So it's going down. So I'm going to be in touch with the Michael, Dr. Brown. So I'm gonna make sure he gets this information in his hands because you know the leader. Hey, stop! You're writing on me. Stop! You see me move my arm. You still writing on me. All right. Writing yourself. Why are you writing on me? So these guerrilla Hebrew dropouts, like they might avoid me, dodge me, make an excuse, not talk to me. But now I'm gonna have Dr. Brown and we did a show with Vocab, let him know some things, and they might feel compelled to debate somebody, I guess, like those on the topic. But yeah, I'm going to make sure that Dr. Brown get everything that we have uncovered research, everything we have researched, all the Greek, all that type of stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do a live with him on his podcast, and he'll probably come over here and bless our podcast. We're gonna talk about these things, you dig? So that's in the making. So yeah, I believe me, I had already knew like this subject is done, completely. It wasn't done before. Just because I had 30 debates before doesn't mean it's done. It's only done when your impact is like felt. So I really feel like our impact is felt in these Hebrew Israelite camps. Here. They're like really, really less willing to argue this topic. They want to talk about other things. That's because they already watched maybe a live or two or watched me on their podcast beating them up one way or another. The information they have come across it, and I think they really don't have a response. Some of you guys heard these guys admit, like, y'all get back to you. I got to do more research. Those were the honest Israelites. What? And then you had Israelites that were dishonest. They act like they couldn't understand basic English. Okay, so let me get back to. I'm not playing the whole debate. I'm gonna play like maybe their rebuttals, and then I'm gonna stop it. I do have other stuff I want to play. All right, I'm not gonna play the whole damn thing. You doing the Swazi basically. You doing that Swazi is basically bringing the true gospel to Dr. Brown and arming him with the weapons. Yeah, yep. Get wrong about this, then it begs the question, who else? What else? Right, exactly. They start questioning all the doctrines. So, because what I want to focus on next, I want to focus on either I really want to do who the Gentiles. I think it's really easy to beat them up on that one. So yeah, I would like to go into the Gentile doctrine next. Who are the Gentiles? And it's interesting. You see how much they want to read the Blue Letter Bible and the Greek when it pertains to the virgin birth. When it comes to the Gentile thing, who are Gentiles or the Greeks, they don't want to get into that blue letter with that. They run from that because the argument is it's really over very quickly. You said Milwaukee, Midwest, yeah, Midwest, yeah. I base it off. I could be wrong. I just base it off the rapper Hitman Holla from Missouri. And when he rapped, it sounds just like the guy. But Hitman Holla, he could be from Milwaukee, you dig? I don't know where his origin's from. I think he's from Missouri only, but who knows his background. But yeah, but Midwest, sure, yeah, definitely, because that is a unique accent that I never heard other than YouTube, other than the rap battle. All right, yeah, so I sped the sound up by a mistake. So let me just go back to that and wrap this one up. So I'm just gonna finish his last minutes. I'm gonna play Christina Ahrahayhla's response to that, and then stop it for maybe a part two. Maybe we'll meet somebody. So let me just play the rest. The rebuttal.
Any reason other than fornication, then he makes himself and her an adulterer. So Joseph, being a just man, is about to make Mary an adulterer and make him an adulterer for something he did. That's not even a sin according to Torah law. So now he gonna sin because he ain't sin. All right, y'all, let them lie to y'all. But no, we're not gonna do that, brothers and sisters. I know y'all are smarter than that. Even in Micah chapter 7 and verse 18, it lets you know the Lord delighteth in mercy. Now I want to go real quick. I know I'm gonna run out of time, but we're gonna bring it right back. We know that Jesus was the last Adam according to 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. It says the first man Adam was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Quicken in the Greek, G2227, Jupeo, to produce alive, begat, or bear living, to cause to live, to make.
Now this comment right here, I was gonna look to see if they would like the description, if they showed it where they're from. I know Christina Ahrahayhla is from Philly. But I was going to look to see if they gave where the old boy is from. But I happen to see this. Ahrahayhla is Christina Ahrahayhla is an excellent debater. I was in Clubhouse when it took place, and the room was lit. Again, excellent job, my brother. So none of the wow. So he replied, he was happy. Thawadah King, much appreciated. Sure. Oh yeah, so you got the Israelites, which I call the Illiterates. Like I show time and time again where these guys have a hard time understanding, like just basic, you know, just basic English, man.
Alive. The Strong says make alive, give life, quicken. So the last Adam was made alive. Or is it the Holy Spirit or the power of God that we read about in Matthew chapter 1? Or the same spirit that came amongst Samson in Judges chapter 14 when he killed the lion like it was a baby goat? The spirit that came upon Samson in Judges 15 when he killed 1,000 men with the jawbone of a donkey? But let's continue. In Genesis chapter 2 and 4, we're going to show you how virgin earth, the Hebrews understood that virgin earth, the ground had never been tilled before. We can go into Josephus and other sources. So according to Genesis chapter 2, let me get this, Genesis chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created in the day that the Lord God made earth and the heavens. And when you get down to verse 7, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils.
All right. So now with that time, that's Drey's 10 minutes, his second round. So now we're going to go with Ahrahayhla's second round, and then we'll go to the third round after that. So Ahrahayhla, you can come off mute, and once you're ready. And again, your 10 minutes in this round is however you see fit, what you want to do with it to respond or continue teaching your subject. So Ahrahayhla, your 10 minutes will start once you start speaking. I'm sorry, not once you start speaking, once you say you're ready to rock and roll.
I'm ready.
All right, no sweat.
All right. Again, first and foremost, all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Again, my opponent has what's called the burden of rejoinder, which is the obligation to refute or respond to opposing arguments. He has not refuted anything that I brought out in the grammatical structure of Matthew 1 and 16. He hasn't even touched it.
I did, and you were wrong. All right, I did it for him. You were wrong.
Right, with a 10-foot pole, right? Now, again, he may have all the theatrics and the huffing and puffing and the ha's and this, that, and the third. My friends, my brothers and sisters, don't be fooled by that nonsense, okay? This is how we've been rocked to sleep by Christian pastors for the past 300 plus years, all right? Now he shows that he has no grasp on the on the Torah, right? So he goes to Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 28 as an argument against Joseph laying with Mary, right? Well, here's the thing. Nice try. Joseph was already betrothed to her. So Deuteronomy 22 and 28 does not work for you because it reads, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed. Mary was betrothed to Joseph. It shows that you don't know the Bible. You don't know Torah, right? When we look at Deuteronomy 22 and 23, it says, if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then you shall bring them both out to the gate of the city. So we see if a woman is betrothed to a man and you lie with her, guess what? That's adultery. You get put to death. So what Drey and people like him are doing is they're bearing false witness of a sin unto death on the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit overshadowed her. Ha ha, hey, hey. And she became pregnant. And the seed of the
Hey, but you gotta address that. He brought out the overshadowing and all that. You gotta address that. If you don't address it, then it's correct.
That is nonsense. It shows that you do not know the Bible. All right, let's go to the book of Hebrews. All right, chapter, give me 1 second. Let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 2. And I'm going to read verse 16, right? To 18. It reads, for verily he took not on him the nature of angels, right? So that.
Yeah, that's not me.
So like you stop that time.
Yeah, we're gonna pause the time. I don't know what happened.
And you know what's funny? Like they pick and choose when they want to read the Greek, because if you read Hebrews 2 in Greek, it doesn't say took on the nature of angels. It says that he helped. He instead of helping angels, he helped the seed of Abraham. But believe me, y'all, they pick and choose when they read the Greek and when they don't.
Ahrahayhla. So we're gonna stop it. I got 2 minutes and 5 seconds, Corey. I don't know if that's what you have.
Yeah, I got 2 minutes and like 8 seconds or something like that.
All right, that's right. We're gonna see if the brother comes back. I don't know what happened with his connection.
Yeah,
I can give y'all some elevator music if y'all want it.
definitely, man. Give us some elevator music, man.
Nah, man. I thought you was gonna say nah, man.
Yeah, click the link above, man. Make sure y'all clicking the
Yeah,
link. You following the
yeah.
platform. Click that little greenhouse, become a member, and nominate others with 2 minutes into round two. We prepare ourselves for technical difficulties sometimes. So, I think the first time the brother Drey kind of paused in round two, because
Yeah, Corey got a phone call. As I see that little red icon on there. I'm not gonna do no elevator music. Hopefully, Ariella gets back up in here. Not sure what caused him to drop out, but we'll see. So everybody, just be patient and hold tight. As you can. You can follow the Versus platform.
hold on,
You can,
we
Corey,
gotta
there you go.
open
You're
up.
back now. You had knocked out.
Yeah, we gotta open up hand raising. He had technical issues for some reason. He was completely knocked out of Clubhouse. So raise your hand,
Oh, okay.
Ariella. He's coming up on a backup page. Excuse the picture. Let's
Yeah, I'm
bring
about to
this up.
say that
Shalom,
is not
shalom,
Ariella.
shalom. All right,
That's
let me
not
change
Ariella
this.
right
Let
there.
me change this picture real quick.
Yeah,
Oh,
please.
so that's his
Please
troll
change the
account.
picture, brother. Good Lord.
No,
That's
I'm
his
no.
on my
fake
work
troll
phone
account.
right now, so I don't even know what the hell happened, Akim. I literally was in the middle of my thing, and Clubhouse kicked me, like logged me off, like kicked me out of the room, logged me off completely. I don't know what's going on. All right, but this is the
All right, well,
brother
you're back at
Ahrahayhla. I'm back with it.
1 second, Ariella. We good on the time. Me and Yacht finna jump back on the time. All is well. We're gonna give you like 5 seconds to start speaking and kind of, get a little momentum, and then we'll press the clock, at about 5 seconds.
Right.
In the midst of that technical difficulty. Make sure you guys are pinging people into the room. We're in the midst of this bill. We're not even halfway through. So make sure you guys get some people into the room so they can enjoy this live bill as well. We're in the midst of round two. We already went through round one and round two of Drey and Ariala's position, and we went to the top of round two. Drey have laid down his position and rebuttal some fine points of Ariala's build, and now we on round two of Ariala, and we're 2 minutes in. So
That's
about
correct.
5 seconds in, Ariala, then we're gonna click the time, and then they're all as well.
All right, Khan, all praise to the Most High. So we are here back in Hebrews 2 and 16. It says, "For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham."
Oh,
All right. The Greek word for seed is sperma.
damn.
All right. A man plants his sperma or his seed in a woman. This is just nature. Okay. No one has any.
All right, so I gotta stop it there. Remember, he believes the guy doesn't know the Greek and the languages. So now this is time to rain lies on the Greek. So he says, because the Greek word is sperma, it must mean sperm. Like pause. Like really, like what type of street man would come to that conclusion, right? So every word has an origin. And a lot of times words decline far from the original usage. For example, kid. Kid is a baby goat. Okay? You sacrifice kids in the Bible. The Bible used kid as a goat. It doesn't use kid as a child or a joke. Okay? In the English language, we English speaking people use kid, same thing, baby goat. Then they started to use kid as kidding around, like a joke. And then later, they started to use kid as an actual child. Okay? So, you can't go look at the word kidding. I'm just kidding with you. Okay? Well, let me look at the etymology of that word. Oh, it's kid, baby goat. So are you baby goating with me? And like, yeah, that's foolish. Like you have to look at the words, how they were used in the time they were used. Human beings start using seed for, first of all, seed means plant, right? That's the original definition. The human beings at some point looked at plants and said, hey, that kind of reminds us of like humans. And they started to use like seed as a metaphor for what goes on with humans. Okay? Or the way the sperm in a plant behaves similar to human sperm when it meets the egg and everything like that. So, but what you don't make a mistake of doing is because it sound like the English word, it must mean exactly like the English word, which is false. So when you look at the Greek word sperma, it tells you that it literally means seed. But most importantly, it says that the Greeks got that from the Hebrew word zera. So if you really want to know what seed means, you would go to the Hebrew, not the Greek, because the etymology won't stop at Greek. It'll go past Greek to Hebrew. And in Hebrew, it just means a seed. It means like a plant. That's it. Okay. So when you read Abraham's seed, that was first said in Hebrew. It was not first said in Greek. So the Greeks were quoting the Old Testament when they read the seed of David, the seed of Abraham. And they were quoting it in their own language the same way how we quote things in English. We're quoting it in our language, even though it's a statement, like a Chinese statement, like a Chinese parable. Like we're quoting it in our language. That's the first thing. So let's say if that same quote in Chinese is also quoted in Russia. Okay. And it was quoted in Russian before America or English. So when you go ahead and start looking up that word, you don't stop at Russia, if what I'm saying is true. You'll go all the way back to China, to the Chinese language, to properly understand what was being communicated or how it was used. So that's what's happening with seed here. Sperma is just the word, and we took that word sperma in English later. It came hundreds of years later, and said, okay, well, sperma to us is going to mean semen. You know, something that semen contains. That's what we did hundreds of years later. But hundreds of years earlier, sperma simply meant a seed of a plant or a child or children. And at some point, relatives or descendants. But it was not, they did not use sperma as sperm during the time of the Greco-Roman era. Okay? That's false. So the dude is lying because it sounds the same. It must be the same. Like, that's what he's doing.
Origin other than this, right? So he took on him the seed of Abraham. Verse 17, wherefore in all things, let me repeat that again. In all things, it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren. Who are his brethren? The Israelites, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. For in that he himself hath suffered being tempted.
All right, so let me stop this right here and show you. There we go. Let me go back. Hey, you got it? Okay. All right, right here. Hold on, he got my arms. He's trying to be an acrobat. All right, so now let me go there. Let me just show you what he's misquoting. Hebrews 2:16. Again, like he pick and choose when he, like the guy said, he pick and choose when he uses Syriac, English translation, and he pick and choose, which is a translation of a translation, and then he pick and choose when he uses the English translation or over the Hebrew. Okay. So let's look at it. So now the King James would say this. This is what the King James would say. Hold on. Where my typing skills go, man? It like really fell off. Okay. So the Hebrew gonna say, for verily he took not on him the nature. This is the English translation, is what I meant. It's gonna in Hebrews 2:16, it's gonna say, for verily he took on him not the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. Now look at the other translation. Look how they interpret this. For surely it is not angels he helps. Help angels. Help angels. Help angels, help angels, help angels, help angels, help angels, help angels, give 8 angels, help angels, help angels. So it's actually helping angels but rather he's going to help the descendants of Abraham's seed, not the descendants of Abraham's sperm. Okay, descendants. So we're not talking about what he's talking about. This literally, this what this says in the Greek is that Jesus Christ ain't come down from the heavens to help angels. He came down from the heavens to help the descendants of Abraham, the seed of Abraham. That's all that means. But they pick and choose when they want to use the Greek or not. Even translated Bibles, they pick and choose when they want to use those. But as we can see, this is clearly talking about helping angels and helping the seed of Abraham, okay? And if, check this out, and if seed is actually sperm, then if it's the sperm of Abraham, what are we saying now? Aren't we saying that Jesus is Abraham's biological child and not Joseph's? So, which brings me back to this, to his leader. So now, look how his leader was pressed. I'm going to play his leader, Guerrilla Hebrew. Look how he was pressed when he held on to the sperm of Abraham. When he was talking to a scholar, the same scholar that I'm going to communicate with and give him the virgin birth, what we know on the virgin birth, all of our arguments. Okay, here we are. Okay, check this out. It's just so disingenuous. It's just so horrible, man. It's no integrity at all. I mean, look, like, just to deceive people. It's just terrible.
Of course, understanding the prophecies, I understand that this all had to happen by the seed of David.
And what is the seed of David?
Now, the guy who we're listening to right here, he's from Sicarii. This guy right here, he's from Sicarii. Okay, this is the Sicarii leader. This is the cult Sicarii group. This is their leader. So he called in saying Shimon think I don't know if he's a scholar. I don't know his background. But I know he's up there.
Mean.
Of course, understanding the prophecies, I understand that this all had to happen by the seed of David.
And what does the seed of David mean?
The seed of David means David's seminal fluid. And
how could David's seminal fluid be transferred to Jesus when he was dead 1,000 years before the birth of Jesus?
Well, of course, he had descendants that were created from his seminal fluid, and they had such.
No, you're not listening to yourself. You see, this is the problem I have. You didn't listen. You said he has to be the seed of David, and you said the seminal fluid of David. But now you extended that to the seed of his descendants. That's not what you said. So it's not literally the seed of David, right? It's not literally his seminal fluid, right?
Well, him particularly, no.
Okay.
See, so they'll say David's seminal fluids, they'll say Abraham's sperm, but if you press them, like I've been doing, like he just did very quickly, they would jump off it because it makes no sense. And this is their leader leaving it. This is their leader leaving it alone. Okay, yeah, it don't mean sperm. I was just trying to pull one on you, and you caught it. So I'm gonna drop it and stick to descendants.
He is able to succor them that are tempted. Now, if Christ was now the somehow demigod that Drey wants us to believe in, because he believes in Christianity and paganism, right? He believes in Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology and Babylonian mythology. If Christ is some demigod, all right, guess what? He has a cheat code because he's half God, half man on earth, who's produced by the Holy Spirit, which is of a different type of body, right? That doesn't make any sense. But it says that he was made like unto his brethren the Israelites. How were the Israelites made? Their mothers and fathers had sex.
No. You can't do that. Because if you see, what happens is when they pull that off, he went to verse 16. I mean, there was a verse 1, right? And there were earlier verses. So why are we reading 16 and saying, well, how was he made? And then jump to he had a mother and father. Now, how about, won't you just read the passage that you're reading from? It tells you how he was made. And what do they mean? Because verse 16 just simply says, so Jesus helps Abraham's descendants rather than helping angels, you see? So this has nothing to do with how somebody is made. Okay, but the reason why he had to help Abraham's seed and not help angels was verse 14. It says, since all of these sons and daughters have flesh and blood. Does that say father and mother? Are we reading, since all of these sons and daughters have mothers and fathers, Jesus took on mothers and fathers to be like them? No, it says, since all of these sons and daughters have flesh and blood, Jesus took on flesh and blood to be like them. Then it explains why he did this, so that by dying, he would destroy the one who had power over death, that is the devil. In this way, he would free those who were slaves all their lives because they were afraid of dying. So Jesus helps angels. So Jesus helps Abraham's descendants rather than angels. Therefore, he had to become like his brothers and sisters. How did he become like them? Taking on flesh and blood, not taking on their mother and father. So verse 10 says, so therefore he had to become like his brothers and sisters so that he could be merciful. He became like them so that he could serve as a faithful chief priest in God's presence and make peace with God for their sins. So when he says cheat code, a lot of Hebrew Israelites get the wrong idea why Christ came down. He didn't come down to be like you or show you how to be a great Israelite. He came down to make peace with God for your sins. Because Jesus experienced temptation when he suffered, he is able to help others when they are tempted. So you see, he came down to help you with your temptations, but he didn't come down to make you like him. Okay? Not in the flesh. I'm just going with what the Bible says, you dig? So let me get that out the way. Let's go back over here. He just bad.
And they were conceived. Simple. All right. What are you going to do about that, Drey? You can't, right? So let's keep it pushing, right?
And you know what's interesting? Like, when I debated this clown, I ain't know none of this Greek stuff, right? And I still handle my business. So now I know this Greek stuff. I said, bro, you know, let's do a follow-up discussion on the virgin birth. Because, you know, I understand a little more than I knew then. You know, because when he went to the Greek, I just was smart. I just was silent because I don't know enough to refute him. I just was quiet. But with something that makes sense, I will challenge him. Like, nah, that can't be. Like, I wasn't a fool. Like, whatever you say, I go with it. Nah, it was like, nah, I don't rock with that. So now that I know a little bit of something myself, he don't want any smoke. He only wants to talk to people that he believes that he has a one-up on. Once you express or demonstrate, hey, man, I know as much as you, a little more. Nope, he won't talk to you.
The book of Galatians, chapter 4 and verse 4. It says, but when the fullness of time was come.
I'm gonna stop right here because he now he's going somewhere different. Like, he went here on Meech killed him on this.
God sent forth his son, made of a woman, right? Because he harped on the Greek grammar of made up, the word of, right? The Greek word ek. We'll get into that in a second. Made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the.
So let me show you where he's reading now, because again, he's going to mess this up. Okay, so he's going to mess this one up too. Again, they pick and choose when they want to read the Greek, because he can't read it, but he pick and choose when he want to go to like the Greek concordance, the concordance on the Greek.
After the sons, again, Christ was made like unto his brethren. He was made of a woman, made under the law. According to the law, a man lays with a woman, all right, he has to betroth her to be his wife.
So no, but that wasn't the law. Like, this is a specific law, and it doesn't. And this word "made," again, this is King James, but in the Greek, this word "made" is actually born. So God sent forth his son, born of a woman, born under law. So this is literally talking about the law of birth. There is a law of birth concerning female children or female babies, infants, and there's a law of birth pertaining to male child, the male child and the female child. There are different instructions for both when they're born. There's a law for each one, and the instructions are different. So, you know, wherever he goes, he botches it. He adds his own interpretation, and it's terrible. So Meech caught him with that one though. He pulled that one. Meech educated him, and what did he do? He didn't rebut Meech. He dropped it and went somewhere else. He's talking about the onus on you. You must rebut. You don't rebut. But I'm gonna show you what he did though. When Meech finally like just told him everything, this dude exploded.
Joseph and Mary were already betrothed. She was already promised, but yet Drey wants you to believe him being a just man who's following the law, which is the righteousness of the Israelites. The word just means righteousness, right? If he's righteous and someone else who's not him got his wife pregnant as a just man, he would need to bring her to judgment so that she can get stoned. That's just what the law says. Let's keep it a buck. Okay, we're not jumping into all of the theatrics of all of this, right? He was made of.
Yeah, like he should act like he's just so street too. Stop it.
Woman. Now let's go back to Matthew 1, right? Because he got on the word of, right? It's the Greek word ek, G1537, right? The word host means whom. It's just whom, like in reference to that being the person, right? So this is the person, Mary, of how Christ was made, right? Let's look at the word of, because all the women that I mentioned in Matthew 1, they were made or begotten, their offspring were begotten of them, meaning the men put their seed in them, and that's how the child got there. So let's look at the word ek.
No. Don't be slick. He keeps again. He once he lied about seed meaning sperm. So his trick now is to start using seed in place of sperm. See, because once you don't challenge it and let him get that off, now he keeps saying it as sperm. So now you believe seed is sperm. Okay. So let's get back. Let's get back. See that won't fly on me. I know better. Like, dude, seed doesn't mean sperm. So stop that. And matter of fact, when I debated him, I he conceded. He conceded that much. Okay, when I debated him. So the whole seed sperm, I nipped that in the butt real fast. Okay, so the other ones, it says begot. So the begot could be seen as the father's seminal fluids. That's how it could be seen. And then it shows of the mother, right? Verse 5, of the mother. So the father used his ability to produce Boaz, and Boaz came out of Rechab. I can agree with that. See, but the problem is when you go to verse 16, it skipped the word begot for Jesus. It still had Mary of, it still used of from out of Mary was born Jesus. See, but the word begot is not there for Joseph. So it doesn't show Joseph, and it don't show his male involvement. That's the problem that Ahrahayhla is missing. It's like, dude, it doesn't show that. It doesn't show Joseph begatting sexual involvement. His DNA is not involved because your DNA is involved by the word begot. We don't see it for Joseph. So it's a good try. Like they're fast, polite, slick talkers.
It means out of. Yes, out of Mary, Joseph begat Christ. It's very simple. We've already demonstrated through the grammatical structure of the Greek word geneo, which means to beget, that Joseph is the one who did that of Mary. It's simple.
No. That born, remember, born is a verb that shows passive. It's a passive verb. It says that it's a passive verb, meaning that something is happening to somebody else. So remember, begot, the first one, the person that is performing the begot. So right here, what you read earlier with active means that Jacob is performing this begot. Passive means this begot is happening to somebody else. So so a man is not performing this one. Instead, somebody's a recipient of this one, which is Jesus. So that's why it says born. Okay, the translators, they read and write Greek. They're Greek, professionals. You're a translator. You go through a series of tests and all type of shit. So you are definitely a Greek scholar if you're going to translate the Bible. Okay, so they were careful, and it's a committee, not one person translated. So they agree that this begot egenethi is a birth. It's comes from women, and all throughout the Bible, if it says egenethi, egenethe, that's a woman doing this action. So it's just not of Mary. So she's not the only woman that this verb, this begot verb is tied to. This is a feminine begot. So this word born and birth, this egenethe, it's all throughout the Bible. And it points only to women. No different than this begot normally points to men. So it's like no way out of this. Like this ain't a unique, weird occasion where this born is only pertains to Mary. all throughout the Bible, this born, this birth, or they pertain to women. Okay, so let me just quickly show you. So you got. So I want you to feast your eyes on it. So it looks like an N-O-N, like 9. I don't know what game you're doing with that. But I was unaware of you gonna do that. He gives me a hold something. I hold it and he smacks it out of my hand. Like I was unaware of that game. Okay. So you see Eganithe there. All right. So now you just click on that. We actually click on it. Watch this. It's 7 times in the Bible. Look at this. Born. So we got born here, not begot. We got born here. Okay. We got born here. We got born here. We got born there. We got at the bottom born. So the 7 times is used. This feminine begot. It's passive, passive, passive. We got Eganithe. Every time it's used in the Bible, it's only used for born. Now let's go back. Let's look at this one. Eganesen. Let's look at this one. It's used 42 times. Watch this. Begot, 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 begot. All right, begot, 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 begot. So it's just that simple. Just click on the inflected verb and see how it's used in other places. So eganesen is only used for begot, and eganithe is only used for born. Men begot, women give birth. That simple. Case closed. So we don't gotta listen to any more. Let them just finish up.
Like we cannot play games and get into all the spookyism and mysticism. The brother talked about, oh, the spiritual man can't see this thing. Well, Paul lets us know that the law is spiritual. And guess what? Christ was made of a woman, made under the law. So according to the law, that's spiritual.
Man, that was a stupid argument, man. That's why I asked you guys. It says made under the law. It's 600. It said the law is spiritual. It's 613. Which law? All the laws are spiritual. All of them. Stop. It's goofy. Yeah. So remember, it says law. So you got some places that says law, and that's one. That's a particular law, and then it says laws, plural. So are we to believe law singular, laws plural, same thing? They all refer to all the laws at one time. Of course, they won't believe that. They're gonna know that law singular refers to a law in specific. So Galatians 4:4, when it says born under the law, made under the law, it's talking about a specific law that is in Leviticus chapter 12. We're starting with verse 3, and then Meach quote them on that. And every time we explain that to these guys, they never rebut. They never rebut it. They don't object. They listen like kids, and they agree. Okay, so I got a clown that wants to hop on and get embarrassed. So let me just put the link out there. If Tone had time, anybody, not just Tone, anybody wanted to hop on and deal with this crazy logic. I'm not asking you to debate. I'll be doing debating, but if you had a question for either one of us, you can ask for clarity. Like if I'm not making total sense, because I'm not saying I got a 100% proof argument. This is why I went to the scholar, Dr. Brown. I say, hell, let's arrange something where we can talk and go over my notes, and you can point out to me what I should drop, what I should stick with, what is strong, what is weak. You dig? So I'm not saying everything I say is foolproof. And this is why I have these discussions in front of you guys to get your feedback. So, honest feedback. Dishonest feedback, you're not helping me. You're making me look dumb continuously if I'm wrong. So that's the Zoom link. Let me put the phone number there in case Indigenous want to ask this guy a question when he comes on. So it wasn't 2 football games on, was it today? Let me see. I know if it's a football game, I know you ain't coming on. Hold on. Let me make sure. Okay, so I see. I see the weigh-in. Okay, so Andre is gonna fight Benavidez. That's a good one. Andre stepped up, what you're supposed to do. If you're great, if you think you're great, you're supposed to step up, especially if you're dominating people that's, on your level. You're supposed to step up and take the challenge. So I'll look at the weigh-in after I send this guy the link. So I'm gonna send this guy the link. So obviously I gotta restart the live because I don't want it to be a 4-hour live. All right. Give me a second. Okay, so let me get. I ate twice today. I ate leftovers. I love Thanksgiving. That's my favorite holiday, man. Thanksgiving. That's man. I'm always celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't give a damn what y'all talk about. As long as Thanksgiving involves food, I'm gonna always celebrate Thanksgiving. That's my favorite holiday, man. I ate yesterday, had leftovers today, and I ate the rest of the leftovers. God damn, I wish, damn. Oh my God. Who got leftovers, man? Who got leftovers left over for me? I'm trying to think. Cool house can I bombard? See, I'm not gonna be interested in leftovers. Like this is the day after. I'm not gonna be interested in like tomorrow's leftovers. Like I'm good on that. Like it would have to be something tasting great for me to eat like tomorrow. Like maybe like collard greens or string beans, something like that. I can do. They dig on some tomorrow stuff, but like the dressing, probably not. It's probably gonna be trash. Of course, cranberry sauce is still probably good. Turkey is still probably good. Something with rice is probably good, but I don't know what else can be good. Like the third day, the Big Mac possibly. It depends how good it was on day one. Because if it's A1 on day one, it'll be pretty good on day 3. Well, I'm lying. Day 1 is if it's A1 on day 1, then day 2 that means it's pretty good, and day 3 means it's decent. It's still edible. It won't be pretty good. You still be edible though. Throw some sea salt on that thing, and the trick is this. Let me trick y'all. Let me show you a little trick. What you want to do is put little olive oil in a pan, little olive oil, and reheat it from the pan. I promise you, that third day Big Mac, if it's made right the first day. So it's all contingent on being made right the first day. If it's made right on the first day, the third day, put a little olive oil in the pan, put in there, heat it up with the olive oil. It's going that oil is going to have it tasting like it was just made first day, but it won't be A1. It might be like A2. All right. So let me get this clown the link. And once I do, I gotta restart this live. Let me just do that. Now you want to play at 8 o'clock? I'll try and get you to take your nap at 1 o'clock. Then you could have woke up. I would have, entertained you at like 4 o'clock, and you wake up. But you ain't gonna go to sleep at. I was really getting some more milk. But he wouldn't go to sleep. I got him in the car. before I even got to the supermarket, he was knocked out. I said, "Oh my god!" And that was about like 6 o'clock or 5. It was late. I'm like, all right. So you think you're gonna think about 6? So you think you about to wake up late? No, put that back. Yeah, put those on right there. Now, yeah. Put your Crocs on. Here, Fifi. Fifi. Yeah, put those on. All right. So let me get this guy the link. All right, so I sent him the link. Let me see if it's the game is it a football game. I know there's one on earlier that went off. The Dolphins beat the brakes off the Jets, as they should. Yes, so I think that's the only game on Friday. Making sure.
Carolina Panthers on the road for a Southern matchup with the Tennessee.
Yeah. Looks like the only. Okay, so we got Saints and Falcons. Care less. We got Steelers and Bengals. I want the Steelers to win. We got Jaguars, Texans. I like the way the boy young Shroud is rocking. I want Texans to win. Keep that boy winning. Colts and Buccaneers, I could care less. But if I had to pick one, Colts. Patriots and Giants, I definitely want the Giants to win over the Patriots. I want Belichick to keep losing and look goofy. Panthers and Titans, I want Panthers to win for the rookie's sake and his confidence. All right. Rams and Cardinals. I got Cardinals. Browns and Broncos. Damn, Browns got a nice record. I care less. Like I really, it don't matter. Chiefs and Raiders. I got the Chiefs again. I got my Chiefs, of course. Bills and Eagles. Oh, that's gonna be a good one. I got the Eagles. Ravens and Chargers. That's gonna be an easy one. It won't be easy for the Ravens, but I got the Ravens. Bears and Vikings. I like both teams, but I'm a favorite of Vikings because I like what Josh Dobbs is doing over there. I want him to make a playoff run and be the starter. And that's it. So we got some corny matchups. We got some good matchups. All right. So I sent the guy the link. All right. Yeah, so that debate just now with Christina Ahrahayhla, I never seen that one before. He lucky I didn't. Because when I debated him, I just seen a guy that's against the virgin birth. Hey, I'll debate you. I wouldn't even know what the hell you was bringing. Didn't care. I didn't know he's a liar like that in Greek. All right. Never have mac and cheese or dressing past. Yeah. yeah. So dressing past day one. I ate it today, and I've got to add this part. It's even worse, no man, because I don't even like to reheat my food. So when my leftovers be like literally leftovers, I don't refrigerate them. I leave them out, and I eat everything room temperature. Yeah, so everything I've eaten today was room temperature. I didn't reheat anything. The Big Mac, nothing. So let's say if I did have Big Mac, which I don't. Let's say if I had some from tomorrow. Yeah, I would do the reheat thing in the pan. But you said, I cook, my boys ain't gonna let me stop. I cook, my boys ain't gonna let me stop. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I wish, oh my God. Yeah. Somebody brought me leftovers because I was not invited to. I'm sure I was probably invited. I don't be checking. If you don't WhatsApp me, I'm probably gonna check your message late. Like so, like the best way to reach me is probably Facebook, a live chat, or WhatsApp. Hit my phone. My phone. I don't even check. I don't check my messages like that. Because you know, it to me it'd be like just depressing. Like, who the hell needs something, need a favor, you know? So I don't check it. Yeah, his troll account popped up. Got him. This guy, weird guy. So he was a white man and somebody's thing trolling. Grammatical structure. Yeah, dudes. But you know what? And this is why I agree with the term woke. Like, so there's a negative. There's a negative placement on the term woke, and I like it because it should be. Because people think woke means to drop all the education that you were taught and start listening to a Brother Polite podcast, and just go with his you know what I mean, the other alternative stuff. He tells you you don't need a job. You know, you should be a boss. Meanwhile, he didn't have a job and he wasn't a boss. So he didn't have either. And now he's serving a 7-year prison sentence. And I ain't hear nothing from his channel lately. His wife and let me see what they got. A matter of fact. As I'm waiting on the brother, let me see what I got here. Let me kill some of these tabs. Yeah.
Ago that caused you to become homeless?
It was a series of events. The first thing was I came to my mom and I told her that my brother confessed to doing something to me, and she didn't want to believe me. Then
what did your brother do to you?
Yes, I hate hearing. I hate hearing those stories, man. When the daughter tells her mother something happened to her by either a brother, uncle, father, boyfriend, babysitter, friend of the family. Like, why would a little kid just say that? I don't believe you. So, I mean, like, listen, there's no way to save both either way. So, like, let's say the mom wanted to save the son, so she didn't want to believe the daughter allegations. So she don't make it no big deal about it. So the son is saved, but you just lost your daughter though. So like like she thought she could trust you. She thought I could come to mom to tell her bad things that happened to me, and mom will, you know, resolve it and make it better. But when mom told their young daughter, "Nah, you good. Nothing happened to you. You were dreaming that." Now the daughter like, wait, you know, that mistrust for mom is gone. I mean, I'm sorry, that mistrust for mom is there and the trust is gone. So, oh, yeah. All right. So that was, let me play a little more so y'all can see what he did. Y'all can hear what he did.
To you?
He sexually assaulted me when I was younger, but he finally like confessed to it.
How old were you when it happened?
We're like 3 years apart, so I had to be like in middle school.
So she's in middle school, so she's not like a 4-year-old saying this who could be wrong and ruin her brother's life. And she's middle school. That's 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that means and he's 3 years older. So that means he's in high school, and obviously he not getting no girl attention. So he turned to his sister. So anyway, if your 11-year-old, 12-year-old daughter says, "Mom, I've been touched," like, you gotta take that serious. Girl, get out of my face with that bullshit. Go sit down somewhere. You out here being a hoochie mama and you want me to believe some shit like that? Get out of here, girl. I mean, that had to be the conversation.
Okay. Was this just like a one-time thing, or was it ongoing?
Yeah, it was a one-time.
One-time thing?
Mm-hmm.
Did he just like molest you, or did he actually have sex with you?
Okay, so the dude called in, but I don't know if this is him. I didn't give him a phone number. Somebody's calling in. Let me see. Hold on. Let me just make sure. I think it is him. I think this is him. Let me end this live and start a new one. I'll deal with this later. We got one, coach.